All right, we're live. We're live. Hello, everyone. Are we up? I think we're up now. Hello. How's everyone going? Um, oh, Shrey, you got an ad for the stream. Yes, this is completely uh outside of my work and things like that. So I allowed YouTube to turn the monetization stuff on. I'll see what happens. I mean, if this thing is gonna make me like $2 a month or something like that, then I'll just turn it off because I really don't care. Um, but I thought I would see what it actually does. So maybe no one can hear me right now because maybe everyone is everyone's watching an ad. But like, here we go. So Matthew, yeah, as I was saying, we started on the dot and got a chicken pre-stream. That chicken pre-stream was actually sending from my computer for the last like 3 minutes, but I forgot to press the button on YouTube that actually makes us go. You think I haven't? You think I hadn't like kind of been doing this for like a year and a half already? But how's it going, everyone? Welcome to the first Marc on Mondays. You're seeing a very very different view of my desktop than normal. There's my Steam and some Warhammer and random stuff like that. So yeah, no, Joseph, don't do that. Like, I knew that was potentially going to happen. People are going to see my Steam username. Um, I'm not going to friend students on Steam right now. There may be a time in the future that I do, and it's actually worse because if you send me a friend invite now, I will ignore it, and then I think that means that you will never be able to send a friend invite if sometime in the future I decide that it's okay to be friends with students on Steam. So I'm not going to friend anyone right now. But thank you, Joseph, for pointing that out. Yeah. Okay, so someone's asking if my icon is the gorillas. Yes, you can see that. That's tiny. My icon is the cover of Demon Days. I'm pretty sure it is. That was the second Gorillaz album. Big fan of that from back in the day. I'm wondering if the chat is all the way over there and my screen's over here. I'm wondering if I should put the camera in between them like I did when I was lecturing. Except I'm probably going to be facing this way most of the time. So, these streams are not going to be like super planned. They're not going to be scripted or anything. It's not going to be like I think a lot of you who are here are used to me lecturing to you, where by now I probably would have slides up and I would have launched into something. But we're supposed to be chill, right? We're supposed to be like Monday night chill stream, not like a full-on educational kind of thing. As you can see, by now I am not drinking my normal water. I have Ribena, so I'm obviously splashing out. But yes, so it's still a rough plan though today, because everyone has got to see. Well, I say everyone. I'm just kind of assuming that most people are here because you've been my students. So what I'm going to say is everyone has like kind of been forced by me to go through and do a whole lot of programming, learn about programming and stuff like that. But now we're going to flip this on its head and I am going to do some programming, but I'm going to do it in a fun way. So I'm going to play Human Resource Machine. As you can see, I've got this up ready to go here. Let's fire it up. And this is a game which is quite funny because it's a game based on the assembly language. So if any of you are my past students and you ended up going to at UNSW Comp 1521, you would have seen some assembler. And some of the stuff that I'm going to do here is going to look quite familiar. Just checking before I get too deep into this, the audio is okay, because I tried to balance it so that you can just hear the computer audio, but it's mostly me, but hopefully it's okay. Izzy did it in 20T3. Wait, you did my course in 20T3 or 1521 in 20T3? People, MIPS is pain, audio is good. Okay. Dylan's making fun of me for drinking Ribena. Yep. Oh, Hamish put in a request for Satisfactory. I could potentially take you on a tour of my factory. My partner and I, we played it over like the Christmas New Year break, where we'd usually have gone on a holiday somewhere or something, but there was just nothing going on, and Sydney went back into lockdown then. So we just bought Satisfactory and we played it for like, I don't know, like 40 hours a day for about 4 days. We just built this massive factory. And it's like, yeah, it's totally clean and well ordered. It's not just an entire mass of messy conveyor belts and stuff like that. It is. It's such a mess. Yeah, we just played that for, I don't know. It would have been like 1 week, and then we just shut it down and never played it again once we went back to work and other stuff like that. But yeah, eventually I can show you stuff like Satisfactory. Someone said in the CSC Sock Discord, there was I think it might have been you, Matthew, who was saying like, I just want to see Mark put on a gamer headset and just start fragging people, and I thought that was so funny. That's what I've been doing actually the last week or so, because I just got Outriders. Outriders didn't review very well, but it was addictive enough for me to play the hell out of it. And you just go around shooting people and stuff. It's just like that. You know those standard ultra-violence video games. Anyway, so what do we got? What are people saying in there? Audio's good. Oh, Blake is asking about the difference between assembler and assembly. I don't think there's a difference. I don't know the difference. I thought that they were like basically the same thing, or it's like it's just one programming. Is it a language? Yeah, it is a language. It's just so close to the processor, it doesn't feel like a language. Tawaka was talking about Factorio. I haven't played Factorio. I have friends who have played a lot of Factorio who I played some Satisfactory with. So maybe I could get into that as well. But there's so many things. Waleed says hi. You're just dropping by to say hi, but you're going to go do some study. That's a good thing. I do understand that the majority of my students who are here from being my current students do have a discrete maths exam tomorrow. Pray that there's no maple involved in that one. I have heard some rather disturbing things about the Math 1131 exam and some fallout that happened there, I guess. Okay. What do we got? Someone said there is maple tomorrow. Shrey said too soon. Ford said, can we actually get the chi fragging? You just want me to go frag stuff. And Dylan was saying, you don't play Factorio, you lose your life to Factorio. Alright. Okay. So, a lot of fun stuff going on. I'm going to start playing Human Resource Machine and show you what I mean by this basically being programming. It doesn't have my old saves. I played this game before, but it was years ago, so I don't remember it, so I thought I'd start from scratch anyway. Which one of these is my photo? I mean, this one obviously looks the most like me, so I guess we'll have to go with this one. See, they said it looks just like me. It looks like I can't change my name. I don't know if you get a name in this. Oh, Blake was saying you just play Nintendo games. Look, I can understand that. I do have a Switch, and every now and then I get like, I get caught up in that as well. Someone said they got the hair right. Oh, Coffin was saying you were going to ask me to roll a D4 for which character to use. I guess that would have been possible as well. Oh, I've got to put on a suit. I am not going to go put on a suit. Also, the majority of the suits I own, I purchased before 2020, so they don't really fit anymore. I'm not the same shape that I was before we went into lockdown. Matthew is laughing at me because I've got my PC stats on the top left. I guess this is a dead giveaway that someone does tuning of things. Like, you know that someone's going to be like undervolting and overclocking and stuff like that if they have like unnecessary stats like this in the top left corner. Yeah, I should overclock this. It's already going at 144. I think I can actually overboost this monitor to more than 144, but I haven't really felt the need because I tend to prefer quality of visuals over frame rate. So I will happily go like, down below 100 frames per second if it's going to look really nice. Alright, so let's get into the game. Welcome to your first day. You look like an excellent instruction follower. You can already tell this how this is going to work, right? We're going to have instructions, we're going to follow them. I also got to check, I'm going to be looking over there to make sure my face isn't covering up too much of the actual game, and I'll just move stuff around if I need to. Ford, not a programmer, frames over everything. I mean, like, back when This is quite funny because like back when we played Quake 3 a lot, a friend of mine had a mod which he shared around to all of us that basically lowered the texture scale of everything in the game and then made everyone's heads turn into bright green objects and stuff like that. So it was really easy to just line up headshots on things, and it was really easy to tell people apart from the walls and the scenery, and the scenery just went like really drab and boring. It was really funny because like it was just like boil Quake down, like take all the immersiveness out of it and make it into a full competitive game. Him and I were on the team that won the CSE Quake tournament in, I can't remember what year this was. I want to say 2003. Could have been 2002, 2003. The society then was called CompSoc, not CSE Soc. And they ran a Quake tournament. We only lost one game out of I think 3 or 4 that we played, so that was fun. Wait, Matthew still plays Quake. Oh my god. Oh, Brendan's saying I'm flexing my 3060 Ti. I was talking on Discord earlier with CSE Soc that I got one of the last 3060 Ti's in Sydney, and I didn't have to pay for it because I had a RTX 2070 in my computer. And it was less than a year old when the 2070 blew up. So they had to replace it, except they had no 2000 series graphics cards yet, so they had to give me a 3000 series graphics card. So I got a 3060 as a warranty replacement when I'd only paid for a 2070 from previously. Autumnal Blake says, yes, we were optimizing the fun out of the game. Yeah. Okay, let's get into it. So we get this person that gives us jobs, and then we have to do the jobs over here, and it looks like... I wonder where the best place for my face is. Maybe down here. Move this up a little. I guess that's like, you know, you'll still get to see most everything that I'm doing like that without me taking out too much of it. This is the nice thing about, I've got running OBS over here for my streaming. I always run OBS and I can just kind of move it a little bit. Someone's saying I'm better off in the top left. That makes sense, actually. There's nothing happening in the top left. Let's put that back like that. And yeah, okay, so let's go for it. So basically you got commands, and we can pull things from the inbox and put them in the outbox. Yes. Yeah, okay, we're dragging. And we run the program and we see how it goes. Oh. So it's saying I'm supposed to pick up all 3 items and put in the outbox. So stop and reset, and it looks like since we only have these 2 instructions, we're just gonna have to like brute force this and repeat it multiple times. This is probably not the last time tonight you're gonna see me brute force a solution to one of these things. Oh my god, everyone's saying I need a streamer overlay that has my PC stats and stuff like that. I was wondering how silly to do things because a friend of mine makes overlays and stuff like that, and I was like, should I go in and like do a full overlay? You can see like what's happening in my computer and stuff like that. I have a feeling that's a little bit over the top. Apparently I'm blocking the little man now. I'm gonna shrink my face a little so that you can see him. There you go. That's the little digital version of me. Most people stress out and quit before making this far. Okay, new assignment. Grab each thing from the inbox and outbox, but now we have jump. So, if we have jump, it means we've got like control over program flow. So what we're looking at here is we go inbox, outbox, and then we jump back there. All right, I'm just gonna go on the assumption here that most everyone here has learnt programming from me. So you've learnt something to do with looping, and so I'm assuming this is just gonna do this job. D-Wayne thinks I have a Ryzen 7. I think I've got a Ryzen 3. I didn't go all out on my CPU. Get a sponsorship banner. Oh my god. I mean, it was like already... Oh, Jennifer, that's something I could get behind. A chicken overlay. Chicken's not actually here with me now, but she might turn up later. And there was a joke that people were like, seeing if I would have a chicken cam. I just sped up that because it was just going to loop through the whole thing. D-Wayne said cat cam. Yep. Izzy is like, is this like go-to? Yeah, this is exactly like go-to, which is like pretty potentially bad. Although it's not exactly go-to because it doesn't go to a specific line. It goes to something that you can move around and stuff. So it is, but it is kind of like go-to. It's basically like a very, very kind of brute force loop. Everyone wants chicken cam. Alright, I will set up something like a chicken cam for the next stream. See, this is what I need. I need like, oh, I just heard a cat. I wonder where she is. Oh, hello. Hello. Oh, yes. Do you want to say hello? I don't know if you heard her then, but she just came in and started meowing at me. So, here's chicken. Say hi to everyone. Alright. She's hopped off my lap now and she's going to be hiding under the desk for a while. Okay. Zia saying, is this going to be a 1 a.m. stream like the last time I checked? We don't know. This stream will go until I stop streaming. Who knows? Yeah, people did hear chicken. Alright. What are we asked to do? Ignore the inbox for now and just send the following 3 letters to the outbox. Bog. Has placed some items on the carpet there for you, if only there is a way that you could pick them up. So I assume copy from is going to do this for us. I don't know if we're going to need... Wait, alright, I see. It lets me pick... I thought I was going to edit the number there, but it lets me pick something. So copy from 4 and go to outbox. I don't know what the format is here. I don't know whether I need to pick one of these and then copy it. I assume that I need... Basically, this is a block of memory, and I have to access that block of memory and then copy from that. Oh, no, I don't have to. Yep, I can just copy from there and then send it to the outbox. So, if they want the letters bug, then that's all I'm going to have to do is pick up those letters, send them to the outbox, and away we go. Zia saying you sub to increase the stream time. Yeah, I need like merch or something, and then like everyone can buy my merch, and then I'll buy another webcam and set it up for chicken. I could see how people can like basically manipulate people into doing that kind of thing, but like, not sure I really want to do that. I don't actually have a second webcam, but I could. I think there's ways to set up your phone as a webcam. Then maybe I could do something like that, but we'll see how we go. Marc confirmed. Oh, chicken plush, man. I think there are actually ways that people do make plushies of their own pets. I think that would be really funny. There was one thing I was actually thinking. I had an idea for making a t-shirt. And it's like a Comp 1511 t-shirt, which just says, I did Comp 1511, but the only thing I can remember is this. And then it's a picture of chicken. I have a feeling people would buy that t-shirt if I made it. It would be pretty funny. Okay, conveyor's fixed. Just in time to get to work. Grab the first 2 things from the inbox and drop them into the outbox in the reverse order. Repeat until the inbox is empty. Ah. Wow. This is starting to look like the questions I make other people do. So we're supposed to take some data and reverse it. So we're going to take something from the inbox and we're going to put it in, put it in 0. And then we're going to take the other thing from the inbox and I'm going to put it in 1. Oh, actually, no, I don't need to do that. I'll take it from the inbox and dump it straight in the outbox. And then I will take the thing that I saved, send that to the outbox. So I take 1 in and dump it, and I take the second one, goes straight through, then the first one goes out, and then that's it. and we want that to keep going. I mean, you can kind of see how this is not a very difficult programming. Like, I'm just saving a value and then sending out the next one before it. So that one goes. So this one goes first, and then the 3 goes, which means that we've done the 2 in the reverse order. Then we get the next 2 in reverse their order, like so. Yeah, easy. This looks like it's totally gonna do it. People are like, we would buy that t-shirt. We had Frankie merch last year. Did anyone get any Frankie merch from last year? Like, Frankie's the name of the fox that bit one of the 1511 tutors. It was pretty funny. You say I have 46 customers right now. The stream numbers have been fluctuating a bit up and down. I guess it's because this is public. There's probably like random people turning up here and just going, what is even going on here? Like, who is this person and why would anyone watch them? BT saying if the shirt is $20. Actually, if the shirt is $20, I literally only have to sell like 10 t-shirts to get the cost of a webcam. Although I think I have to take into account the cost of making the t-shirts in the first place. But we see how we go. I don't necessarily want to turn this into like an entire other job. However, if it makes me as much money as my other job, then I could just stream all the time, which would be a very, very interesting career path. I don't know if I'm going to do that. Oh, R.I.P. Frankie. Tawaka, yes, that is why there was a Fox question in the exam. I realized in hindsight, so I'm just talking over the game here, I realized in hindsight that having the Term 1 exam include a Fox didn't make sense to a lot of people. Because a lot of people weren't here last year when the Fox was like literally the biggest news on campus for one of the particular kind of months of UNSW not happening. And so it was like hilarious, that whole thing. Like, all the humans went into lockdown and then a fox just turns up and makes campus its home, and it's like nature is returning to the earth. It was really funny. Nick says I can get cheap bulk order t-shirts for less than $10. People are saying I become a pro streamer and I participate in an Oz esports team and stuff like that. I think you are overestimating both my popularity and my ability. Okay. I'm bad at math because I only have 3 fingers on each hand. Alright. For each 2 things in the inbox, add them together, put the result in the outbox. I think what they're doing here is they're slowly giving me more instruction capability to be able to do things. So, 2 things in the inbox, add them together. So we grab something from the inbox, we'll chuck it in location 0 again, and then we grab another thing from the inbox. Add 0, add the contents of a tile on the floor to whatever value you're currently holding. Alright, that's good. I think that's it. We inbox something, dump it in there, we grab another thing from the inbox, add them both together, send it to the outbox, and keep doing this. I feel like that's gonna work. This is pretty simple stuff. I think we're still in tutorial stages here. When we get later into this, we're gonna see me struggle. I think. Shrey wants me to play Valorant. What is Valorant? Is Valorant Team Fortress 2, or is it something else? Like, is it like, because I know it's a team shooter, but I've never played it, so I don't know what the playstyle is like. But I also know it's made by Riot, so it's like, is it more MOBA like? Does it have like, you know, you're upgrading gear as you go along and stuff? Joseph is setting up the Shopify page. Oh, I should do esports with... okay, you know what would be better than this? What would be cool is if we have a chat with the esports society at UNSW and we start to actually build up an esports league where like, because this is better because I don't have to play any games. I will like commentate and stuff, and I'll spruik it and things like that. But it won't necessarily be like, I won't be on a team or anything. Again, you know, I was saying this before, like, don't ever compete with your students, because there's two outcomes if you compete against your students. One is you beat them and they're disheartened and they don't want to play anymore and they don't want to learn anymore. Or you lose to them and then you discredit yourself and they don't want to learn from you anymore. So it's just like, there's no good way out of this. Whereas if I organize the competition and have people play each other, then it still could be interesting. Someone said it's Overwatch and CSGO, and someone said it's CSGO by Riot. Lovely. Good work, Riot. Riot has never actually made an original game anyway, right? Just giving you shit, Riot. I've got friends that worked there, actually. But, yeah, well, it's kind of like League of Legends was a modification on top of Dota 2, basically. So, well, not Dota 2, Dota 1. I don't know, did League of Legends or Dota 2 come out first? I'm pretty sure LoL came out first, right? And then Dota 2 came out to be like, hey, you can't just take our idea and then make all the money with it, right? But League of Legends is still the biggest game in the world, or is Fortnite bigger? I don't know. Someone's like, yeah, big roast. Chicken as an esport manager, someone said. Shrey said we do actually have engineering esports tournaments. So maybe all I need to do is just get on board the engineering esports tournaments and offer myself up as a commentator, because I think that would be really funny and silly, and we could put them on stream and stuff like that. D-Wang, Dota 1 was a modification of Warcraft 3. That was before WoW. I know, I was there. I remember playing Dota when it first came out, and I was like, what the hell is this? And stuff, because at that time we were playing custom Warcraft 3 maps, and they were like RPGs and stuff like that, and there was this one was like, okay, there's these lanes and these mobs automatically move along them, and it's like, oh, this thing's got some depth. And then it just exploded and it took over the whole gaming world. It's really interesting, you know, when you're there and you get to watch a genre being invented. I think it's a really big deal. It's really cool. But then again, I was also there watching the first-person shooter genre get invented, and I think that was like kind of fundamental to gaming in general. This is going to go into other places on my channel. You will find a, what is it, like 2.5, 4, it was like much longer than that. It was like 2.5 or like 4-hour long stream of me talking about the history of video games. But then it was like, yeah, I ended up streaming Halo by the end of it on that. It's pretty funny. Zia said you were there as a kindergartner when Frozen Throne. Okay, I'm gonna drop some more random stuff as well. That like, I'm gonna say that the story of Arthas Menethil is superior to the story of Anakin Skywalker. That's what I'm gonna say. I'm gonna put myself out there and say that I know the story of Anakin Skywalker is very, very famous, and a lot of people like really love it. But I still think the story of Arthas Menethil was told better. That's it. I'm gonna put that out there, and then see if I get torn to pieces for it. Nick is saying, meanwhile, RTS is slowly dying. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that RTS is... It's a genre that's kind of done, but there are some amazing things that were done in that genre. Personal favorite is Homeworld, I think, was one of the greatest things in that genre. And the entire sort of Company of Heroes into Dawn of War series that Relic did, I thought were really good. But a lot of the best companies that did RTSs just kind of faded out. Like Westwood faded out, the Command & Conquer series died. I mean, they invented it, right, with Dune 2. Blizzard, yeah, Blizzard's, I guess, still there. Like, maybe they will do a StarCraft 3 or a Warcraft 4, but I actually kind of doubt it at this point, because they know that it's not really worth it, because StarCraft 2 and the expansions just kind of went meh, I think, as it went along. But yeah, who knows? Who knows? Joseph did not like my comment about Arthas versus Anakin. Blake's saying, are you saying Pikmin? I played the demo of that. That seems really interesting. Yeah, Michael's saying the RTS audience is still there, but it's just not a safe bet. Like your action adventure games just kind of win out over other things instead. I think one thing that's quite funny is what was I going to say? Like it reminds me of the flight sims of the '90s. So in the early mid '90s, there's like military flight sims were huge, and Wing Commander was huge, and X-Wing was huge, and these games were like really really big. But at some point, people decided that flight sims were not the thing they wanted to do. I'm pretty sure that the things that drove them out were the first person shooters. So the ascension of your Quake 3 and Unreal and other stuff like that, sort of heralding a new era of games, and these more simulation based games got kind of sidelined. So now flight sims are sort of still around. You get those space flight sims still appearing every now and then, but it's really just kind of like grognards with flight sticks, you know, and then the rest of us kind of play them a bit, but they're not like the prime games. The prime games now are like either your first or third person shooters or your big story action adventure RPG kind of games, like all your Bethesda games. Actually, Bethesda's kind of winning on both of those at the moment. Because, you know, like Skyrim being pretty much the biggest game of the last decade. And now they've done all the, like, they're the company that's behind id, which is behind all the Doom remakes, which is now, like, kind of saying that, like, FPS is back, you know, and it's, like, amazing. So it's kind of interesting seeing that. Shrey's asking, why is one half yellow and one half blue? These ones are like on one topic, and this is like starting another topic. So what I might do is I'll go through these, because these are optional. They're not, this is the main story path, these are optional. So I might finish this path first, and then I'll go up this path. Because I actually said that I was going to play games this stream. I end up just talking about other things. People will get into that. People will realize that as they start talking about stuff, and then I start, like, responding to chat instead of actually playing the game that I'm playing. Joseph saying Microsoft Flight Sim is god tier. His friend glue a keyboard above his monitor to sim a pilot cockpit. I always love that. I always love that, like, it's like watching like the scenes in Star Wars of the Millennium Falcon, and then flicking switches on the ceiling and stuff, and it's like there's so much console space where they could reach that they don't have any buttons on, but it's cooler to flick switches above you. It's more fun. Alright, let's go in here to the tripler room. Oh my god, D-Wang talking about Star Citizen. Star Citizen technically exists, but it's never gonna get finished. Okay. Oh, the optional area of high-performing employees. Pressure's on. 100% performance increase. Ah, okay. Then now we get the challenges. And the challenges are where this thing gets super interesting. Okay, so for everything in the inbox, triple it and outbox the result. So we take inbox, we copy it to 0, and then we add it to 0. That's going to double it. And then we add it to 0 again, it's going to triple it. And then we outbox it. I'm pretty sure that's all we need to do here. Let's see if this is... like all code. We'll run it and see if I'm actually correct here. So we're adding it. And we're adding it. That tripled it. Go. Yep, we're good. I'm going to speed this up. And I think now we're going to get the challenges, which is, I think, the funnest bit of this game. Because, like, getting the solution is cool, but then... they have 2 optimization challenges here. Does this thing run in a minimum number of steps? And does it have the minimum amount of code? So, like, this is always really interesting because, like, I've never in my life optimized for the minimal amount of code. Because that's like, when would we ever try to reduce the number of lines of code we're writing? But that's only because I've never worked in true assembler, which is often run on really limited systems. Like when you've got like the code running on, I'm just looking around me for like small shitty devices. Oh, my webcam, for example, is going to have a, like, I don't even know if it's got a processor in it, but it might. And then that processor might have a really, really limited amount of memory. So it's like, okay, everything needs to run on this needs to fit on 64K or something like that. I don't know, I'm just making that up. I have no real experience with embedded systems, but I think that's why the size challenge exists. Me personally, the speed challenge is something that I've probably spent more time working on, because I did a lot of stuff with like real-time programming and stuff like that. Like when you're someone who kind of like loves the idea of computer games and you want to make them, then you end up kind of getting into that side of things. But yeah, let's see what we get with these. And now we can go back to all of these and ooh, look, there's an optimization here that I haven't made, which is interesting because there's very, very little going on in this. So why was this one not optimized? It appears impossible to optimize this any further than it is, but I have a guess, because this is 1, 2, 3 steps, so it's taking 9 steps. I have a feeling that maybe if I just brute force this, I can do it in 6 steps instead. Oh wait, no, it's gonna go forever. It's not 6 steps. Okay, let's see. This might be really, really silly. But if I just do this enough times, it will definitely run with less steps, because it'll never have to take the jump step. This is so stupid. Let's just see if this actually works. Okay, yes, so we just need to keep doing this forever. Maybe. So, optimization sometimes makes your code look really, really bad. I don't know if this is the correct solution, but I see no other way of optimizing this further. So I'm just gonna keep doing this, and I hope there aren't too many of those. Are people laughing at me yet? Hamish says he thinks I need 12 pairs here. What are other people talking about? They're talking about different games and stuff there. I'm not sure if people are talking about the way I'm editing to... Oh, Matthew says 4 and then jump might be enough. Actually, this might be enough. Let's just do this and see what happens. Oh, I could have just had one more pair instead of that jump. Let's see if I beat the speed challenge, though. I did. That was really silly. But I'm not at any point going to judge what people do when they try to make programs run faster, because like getting stuff to run faster often is a matter of like completely destroying everything that you are doing with your readability of your code. It's just like, let's go all in. So you've already seen me break all the rules that I give you for learning how to code. Okay, always check your own performance. Each sign's optimization. Yes, okay, I've got that. Yep. Is there anything more thrilling in life than self-improvement? Okay, each thing in the inbox multiply it by 8 and put the result in the outbox. Using a bunch of add commands is wasteful. Oh, it's easy but wasteful. Can you do this using only 3 add commands? We already know how to do this. Okay, I'm going to copy this to 0. And I'm going to add, and that's going to double it. And after I've doubled it, then I'm going to copy it. I might copy it to 1 so I can watch it happening. And then I'm going to add 1, which is going to double it again. Oh, I really don't need to keep doing these copies, do I? Oh, no, I do. Because this one will have the number. This one will have double the number. And then I will multiply by 8 by doubling this one. Right? Yeah. Double once, double twice. Wait. This one goes double into the hand, and then that doubles it, and that doubles it. So that should be 2 to the power of 3. We'll figure out this pretty quickly if I don't do it right. So we do this, and we can copy this to the next one just to watch it happening. And we add that. So each one of these copy to and double, copy to and add should be doubling it. So should be able to multiply it by 8. Wait, multiply it by 8 or to the power of 8? No, that's multiplied by 8. I don't know, let's just run it and see whether this is the right code. So 7, 14, 14 doubles, 28, 28 doubles. Yes, that's correct. 7 times 8, 56. And we loop. Let's see what chat's saying. Run 1.11 style on it. Tawaka's asked me when I will write a guide for Human Resource Machine. I think that's happening right now. D-Wang, I'm not sure what you're talking. Oh, you must be talking about a game. Talking about black holes and stuff. Are you talking about Elite Dangerous? Matthew's saying nested loops, but we have no counters or conditions. We need some if statements, which they may give us soon. Okay, I beat the size challenge because I did do the minimum there. Oh, and the speed challenge. Look how optimal I am. I am for now, and I will be less optimal later. Where's the indenting and the white space in the header comment? I thought this would be funny that like I'm doing coding in front of everyone, so everyone now gets to pick at my code. Not that you weren't picking up my code when I was teaching you. I thought it was quite funny when I just did a typo and then the chat would just explode with whatever typo I had been doing wrong. Okay. What are we doing? For each thing in the inbox, multiply it by 40 and put the result in the outbox. Multiply it by 40. So... I'm wondering what an elegant way to do this is, because 40 is obviously not a power of 2, so we're not just going to be able to do our, like, adding thing here. Ooh, we have... Oh, no. Drag to learn more. Okay, so we take it from the inbox, and we copy it to one location. .h, yeah, everyone's .h. You can tell who are my current students, because I left a .h off a hash include this term, and then people just, like, dropped that on me in chat. It was pretty funny. Abraham, one of my ex-students from last year, said, what you don't know is that Mark intentionally makes typos to annoy all of you. Matthew's saying multiply by 8, then multiply by 5. Yeah, I was thinking that just because we had multiply by 8 already. So we can try that. So that's going to do that there. And then we can add 5 of them together because we've got 5 here. So we multiply it. We've multiplied it by 8 here, all on this one piece of memory. And then we can double it? No. No, we're just going to copy it in here, the same number in here multiple times and add them together. Right, so this is our 8 times the number. And then we copy that into the second slot and add to it. And we just do that same thing until we get to 4, I think. There's no nice way to loop this, because I have no if statements yet. So let's go to 2 and add 2. Wait. I'm doing this in the wrong order. I have to copy the same number in 5 times and then add them all up. If I keep doing the copy to, this is going to double it every time. So I'm actually doing this. Yes. Okay, so now I have 5 copies of the same number. If I add them all up, that's good, right? Because I'm holding 1, and then I can add it to all of these. Yeah, add it to the 4 of these. I think this is it. We'll see. Matthew already had that. You already knew that. Yeah. I told you that, like, me doing this, you would see that some of you are faster than me at this. Alright, we send that to the outbox, and then we loop, and that should do all 4 numbers like that. Well, we'll see if it does. So, first we have the double, quadruple, multiply by 8, and then we put them all out there, and then we add them up each time, and that should get us 5 times that. 40 times 2 was 80. Yeah, that's correct. Heh. I think that worked. Oh, Izzy's right. Yeah, you totally don't need to copy that out 4 times. Could have just copied it out once. And then just added it multiple times. Sam, trade offer. You get $1,000 a day, but you cannot use any if statements or loops ever again. Go to only. Sam, if I'm gonna get $1,000 a day, then I don't need to code ever again in my life. That's actually a pretty good deal. Okay, so slow and too big, but Easy gave me the answer to potentially both of those. I don't even need to copy that to 1, do I? Oh, I need to do, because I've got the number here, I need to copy it at least once. Alright, let's see if this does it. Looks like it's getting the same answers, which is good. I don't know if this is going to beat the speed challenge, but I also don't know how to do it any faster than that, so we'll see. Okay, this is the size challenge complete. Speed challenge complete as well. Yep, there you go. One of the funny things about this game is you can actually look up the website for the company that makes it, the Tomorrow Corporation, and they show you the stats on all of the problems in the game and the percentage of people who have completed the different challenges and stuff. It's quite interesting. Wait, is someone quoting JoJo? I've not seen JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I apologize. I've been told that I should watch it, but I've never seen it. BT, I would take 1,000 a day and I can pay my hex. Only just, though. Oh my god, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Oh, that question. It's actually an interesting question. I think, have I talked about this already? I remember getting triggered by this and talking about this in something where I've talked to students before, but it was like, where you see yourself in 5 years is like, potentially it's a really good question because it's asking people about what they want from their future, which is like one of the best questions you can ask people. It's like, what do you want to do later on? Do you have things that you want to do or be or anything? And it's like, then you set goals and you move towards them. So it sort of makes sense. Except, where do you see yourself in 5 years has been in every job interview for the last, like, I don't know, 10 years, and everyone's got prepared responses to it. So it's just, it tells you nothing about a person to ask that question. I think everyone should, when they receive this question, they should be like, put down your piece of paper and go, look, thank you very much. You can consider this interview over. I'm withdrawing my application. Just walk out. Like, if you can't ask better questions, I don't want to work for you. Oh my god, they went to 10 years. Alright. Performance will be evaluated with extra scrutiny. I think that's their way of saying on this branch, because we just went on the other branch, that we're going to get the tests. Ooh, jump if 0. It looks like we've got conditional looping now, which could be interesting. D-Wang said it's a somewhat obscure reference. Don't worry. However, how have you not watched JoJo? I apologize. I have not watched JoJo. And people said, yes, you have already talked about this. And I'm saying it again. Izzy Gray in 5 years playing Minecraft in my bedroom. That is such a good place to be, I feel. And like, I feel like if someone's going to say something like that, then you know that they're actually going to tell you the truth. It's like, I have things I want to do with my life. And they are to have a life that's actually comfortable, where I have a bedroom and I can play Minecraft. That already puts you in like the top sort of 5% of the world's population if you have both of those things. So it's like, that's actually not a bad place to want. Suluk said, I see myself being 24 years old. I assume that you're 19 years old now, so you can't be, that can't be not true. Matthew, 0 flag, assembly programs rolling with happiness. Okay, so send all things that are not 0 to the outbox. So we take it from the inbox, and if 0, we just got to see how we're going to do this jump. If 0, we go to the outbox, otherwise we jump back. I don't know if that's the most efficient way of doing this. But possibly. It's like, so we read something from the inbox. If it's 0, we go here to the outbox. Oh, but then we still need to jump back. Now, there might be a better way of doing this, but I know that this is technically correct. When we get to we've dumped one thing, we'll go up and pick something else up. I think that these 2 jumps here is going to be a more efficient way of doing that. But I'm just pretty sure this... Did I do the wrong thing? Send all things that are not 0. I did the exact opposite, didn't I? Yes, I did. So... if it's 0, it does not go to the outbox. If it's not 0, it goes to the outbox. So if 0, we skip this line where it goes to the outbox. Yep, there you go. We pick it up. If it's 0, we don't send it to the outbox. And in that case, we go back and pick up something else. If it's not 0, it gets to this line. Yeah, I think that'll work. So it's not 0, it gets to the outbox line. It is 0, and it gets thrown away as we pick up another one. Yep, that'll do it. I assume this is going to get me the optimization for the lowest number of commands, because I don't see us doing that with less than 4. Oh no, lots of steps. Okay, so this is where this game starts to get like a little bit interesting and a little bit tricky. So Lux is saying, am I implying that 95% of people that play Minecraft don't have a bedroom? No, I'm saying that if you have Minecraft and a bedroom, then you're actually in a very, like, worldwide, you're in a very, very good position. Peter saying this is coding using only go-to statements. Kind of. I mean, this is assembler, but, like, this game gets more interesting. The more you go into it, the more commands they give you to be able to do stuff. How's comp 6841? Which one's 6841, Abraham? Someone's saying just jump if 0 to the top. I don't need to go to the other jump. I can just go straight back to there. I wonder if that's going to be more efficient. We'll see if... I have a feeling that's probably going to do this with less commands. Yep, that was it. It was just the extra jump that I'd put in there was making it less efficient. Alright. Oh, 6841 is security. Oh, is that because Peter's supposed to be studying for an exam right now? Is that why you're talking to him about it? Yes, it is the exam tomorrow. If you have an exam tomorrow, this is your friendly reminder that you should probably leave this stream and go study now. I don't mind if I have less people coming to my stream if they have an exam to do. Abraham said Richard Buckland had a screenshot of me saved on his desktop. Yeah, someone else told me about that. One of the tutors told me about that apparently Richard had taken screenshots of other people, other lecturers and other people streaming and stuff like that to see what they put in their background. I think Richard thinks that maybe I am organized enough to have actually done something with my background. Sometimes when I'm on the other angle, the lecturing angle where I lecture to the camera rather than like looking at a screen, there's a closet over there that I sometimes remember to close. but I think Richard thinks that I'm much more calculated and professional than I am. This is just my room. It's like there's nothing special about it. There's like, you know, like my desk here that has my Warhammer painting and all that kind of stuff is just here. And that shelf is like my shelf of like pop culture paraphernalia that I haven't actually taken out and put on display. It's all just still sitting in its boxes. My office at university is much more interesting because I've taken a whole bunch of those things like Transformers and Ninja Turtles and stuff like that, and I've got them actually on display in the shelves in my office. You probably won't ever see that. For the majority of you probably don't want to ever see my office, because if you see my office, it's usually for a very bad reason. But, you know, some people might eventually at some point get to see my office for good reasons. But, you know, it's not like I'm actually supervising any thesis students at the moment or anything like that. Yes. Oh, everyone's got exams tomorrow. I feel sorry for everyone. I hit a point in my life where I was like, no, thank you very much. I'm never doing exams again. And I actually hit that point before I started doing a PhD. And then when I was doing a PhD, they said, oh, you've got to do some subjects along with your PhD to like just kind of, you know, pick up some knowledge on the way. And so I just basically looked through the subjects that I might want to do and just crossed off anything that had an exam, and then looked at what was left and was like, all right, I'm taking those two. It was pretty funny. Kevin asked, do I have a separate office? Yes, I'm full-time staff at CSE, so I get an actual office to work in. Nicole says, hello, not a comp student, but hope you're well. Thank you very much, Nicole. I didn't expect that necessarily people would even find out about this stream who weren't comp students, because I haven't really publicized it. I'm not looking for this thing to like explode into like internet stardom or anything like that. I kind of like, it's actually better if I kind of know what's going on. I can actually read all the chat and stuff like that. Abraham, no, I'm never doing exams again, proceeds to write exams every term. Yeah, I know, the irony is not lost. Although, you should see, like, this is actually, it's gotten more and more full on the longer I've taught 1511, is the comments that I say about the exam during the final lectures get worse and worse as it goes along. So at the beginning it was like, you know, exams are a necessary thing, we're gonna do it, and this is how you do it. And now it's like, exams are shit, and I hate them, but there's no other way to assess everyone. So it's like, it's pretty funny how that's gotten more and more along. This stream, actually, as we go through the next couple of months, I'm going to do some talking about the computer graphics subject at CSC that I'm putting together at the moment. And I'm trying to figure out how to do that without an exam, because A, don't want to write one, B, don't want to mark it, C, don't like making students do exams. Especially as a third-year subject, I feel like your work... Once you're approaching the point where you're going to be leaving university, you're never going to have exams again, but you're going to have to do a lot of hard work. So I feel like at that point of your degrees, we should be testing you on doing hard work, not whether you can memorize things and then do really specific set piece kind of solutions to things. So we'll see what we can do. I will talk more about that later. Alright. How much chat have I missed? I should do an objectivity video. You did objectivity with a capital O. Did you mean the concept of objectivity? Or is there a particular game called objectivity that we should do? Ryan said Dawn of War on stream. Oh, that would be interesting. You'd get to see how bad my RTS skills are if I did Dawn of War. Matthew said this is the beginning of Mark's internet career. Nicole, you saw a link to Dan's old Friday stream on the uni Discord and then went from there. Oh, yes, Dan used to do Friday Twitch, right? And I turned up a couple of times to those and stuff, and then we did some joint things. They were a lot of fun. Dan and I are actually going to be playing some Warhammer at some point soon. I think it might be really funny to set up a camera or something and film it. Warhammer's, I don't know, some people watch it streamed. I've watched a few games of it streamed, but I think it's like, it would be like 3.5 hours of us playing Warhammer. It would probably get pretty boring, especially because both of us are not very good at the game, so it would be slow. It would be much slower than actual Warhammer streaming. Brian's laughing that I swore. We're out of hours now. It's 9 p.m. I am not working. This thing's monetized. You're working for me now. It's not how that works. This is not going to make very much money. But, you know. Oh, Sulux is saying your sister is doing exams in her grad position. That sucks. Is she a doctor? Doctors do exams, because they do really hard stuff that they have to really, really definitely know before they do stuff. Actually, a lot of professions do exams for things. Like, I think there's like chartered accountants have to do an exam before they can reach a certain tier of accounting capability or whatever, like that kind of thing. Computing doesn't really seem to be like that, though. Peter, do Civ 6 and make everyone but me fall asleep. Yeah. Nick said you'd be up to help with a Dawn of War 1 multiplayer game. I don't know, though, Nick. The fact that you're offering that help might mean that you will just find my base early and stomp me before I know what's going on. Let's see how it goes. I actually prefer Dawn of War 2. I like the small squad thing. It was like more of a skirmish game with heroes and stuff like that. Oh, Blake is asking, who is Dan? If you're in your first year here at university, I don't think Dan is teaching any of the starting subjects right now. But you will probably meet him soon. His name's Daniel Mansfield, and he's another lecturer at UNSW. And basically anyone who has had me as a lecturer is probably going to have Dan at some point as a lecturer. I don't know if that's always the case, because he's moved around a bit more between subjects than I have, where I'm just like, let's do 15117 7 times in a row. That may have been a bit much, but yes, that's what I did. So Luke said Warhammer as a concept scares you. Yeah, I mean, it's a bit weird, you know, it's like tabletop gaming, it's got dice, and then you get into the whole crafty element of it, where you actually, like, make everything and you paint everything and stuff like that. I got a bunch of stuff over here that I've painted, actually. Let me, one sec. Let me just see what other people are saying. Oh, please play Minecraft. Okay, the tough thing about Minecraft, although it could be really funny, is I don't know anything about Minecraft. Like, I've played games that came after, and I've played games that came before, but Minecraft, I think, resonates really well with your era of students, like anyone within kind of like sort of 5-10 years of your age, of the average age of uni students at the moment, because you grew up with it. I unfortunately was like, I grew up with a different set of computer games and things, so I don't have the same, I guess, emotional attachment to it, and I haven't really bothered playing it. So there's a whole generation of people who it's like, if you haven't played like Fortnite and Among Us, then you're potentially in high school or uni now, and like these things were a little bit they're a bit too young for you maybe at that point, or they'd already gone past their prime by that point. Although Among Us was like just last year, so like I think a lot of us have played it. But you know, you get that kind of thing where there's like eras of games, whereas mine's gonna be like it's like Warcraft 3 or Quake 3 and stuff like that, the games I was talking about earlier. Nick says Dawn of War 2 is good too, yeah. DQNA, I'm not sure if I should be pronouncing that some other way. Are Dan's streams still available? Look up Daniel Mansfield on Twitch. I'm pretty sure he recorded all his streams. They were really nice. They were really like, he's really wholesome. Like he would like read books. He would just read books to people and stuff. Whereas I stream and I immediately monetize it, talk about merch and swear at you. Take it. Yeah. But Jennifer's saying Mark learning Minecraft YouTube series, and Izzy would watch the noob Minecraft. All right, this would be funny. Okay, I will get a copy of Minecraft and we'll talk about it at some point. Among Us. We should totally play Among Us at some time. Tawaka said I should play RL Craft. RL Craft seems like it's humanity. Is it Minecraft in RL, or is it something else? Am I just, like, not understanding it? Matthew wants me to run a Quake tournament. You know what that's going to be, Matthew? It's going to be you and me sitting in a room, and then no one else will turn up. Because they're like, what even is Quake? It's like, Grandpa, do you need me to get your cane? Like, that'd be so funny. I mean, like, I know it's not that old, but, you know. Dylan's saying CSE Sock Minecraft server. There was a CSE Sock Minecraft server, but then like people weren't that keen on it, so they didn't bother with it. Blake wants me to read you a bedtime story. I was thinking maybe I could. I do have stuff I could read you, and it would be funny, but we'll see about that. Oh, RL Craft is like Minecraft but modded to be unbelievably hard. Didn't I already tell you that I have no idea how to play? Just drop me in the deep end. It's not like other games don't do that, but anyway. Peter said every Minecraft server dies in 4 months. Maybe it's better to have a Minecraft server that has a specific shelf life. So you say, we're starting a Minecraft server and it will be up for exactly 1 month. And so you got 1 month to play, and then we'll take it down again. And then you have like whatever you've built by the end of that is what it is. I think maybe things that have a natural ability to kind of go up and then down It's better to just like, you know, like, has anyone watched Community TV series? Like, depending on which season of Community you're looking at, it is either one of the funniest shows on television or like, I don't want to be too mean. Yeah, whatever. It was complete trash. It was like after like season 3 or 4 or something, when some of the staff started leaving because they were going off to do other things, and then the character of the show just kind of faded, and then it went really weird, and then they tried to replace people with other people, and it just didn't have the same character anymore, and then everyone was like, okay, we've just got to finish this season and then walk away and stuff, and it's kind of like, yeah, you should have done that the season before. But, you know, like, it's tough. It's tough. Like, I don't make TV shows, so I don't know. You get contracted into doing something, and then you have to finish 5 seasons of it or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, Community faded very badly. And so, like, Minecraft servers are like that. They're going to happen, but then they're going to end up not happening. And so, like, if you say we're going to end it at this date, we're going to end it before it starts to fade, then you can sometimes create a good kind of start and finish to the things that you're doing. Yeah, people talking about Community. Oh, Ford is watching Community right now. I apologize for what I have said. You will know. You will know. Because there'll be this point where the quality is like so amazing, and it was just like, and you'll be like, what happened? And you'll be like, alright, time to leave. Mark said I could leave now. There's nothing left to watch from that point on. William, yeah, I'm totally with you. I don't want to spoil it for people, but yeah. Because, like, how good is, like, Troy and Abed in the morning? Love that so much. Yeah, I think everyone's agreeing with Andrew and Peter were like, yeah, Community kind of went weird. Sulux is saying, yo, actually, Mark, what's your thoughts on SCP? Is SCP short for something I don't know? Is it something I do know, but I've just forgotten what it is? Let me know. Let me know what it is, and I will see. Oh, Andrew is talking about the Community movie. I don't think the Community movie is ever going to happen. Joseph said your friends and you always pay for a 1-month realm and to play during Christmas holidays. Yeah, see, that's a cool thing. You have an event, and then it happens, and then it's gone. Secure, contain, protect. Oh, it's a game. I don't know. I don't play that many horror games. I played Dead by Daylight? Was it Dead by Daylight? It's the one where you, like, 4 of you play against one other person. And the person puts you up on meat hooks. It's really, really gruesome. But we played it with 5 of us, like my friends, and we were all on the same voice chat together. So it was like the person literally hunting you is on the same voice chat as you. And it was just so funny because, like, you're there and you're hiding and you're trying to repair these machines, turn the lights back on to, like, be able to survive. And then you hear your friend giggling over Discord and you're like, oh, and then you get grabbed and put on a meat hook, and then you're screaming and you're in great pain, and it's just really, really horrible. It was great. It was great. We all thought it was an amazingly well-crafted experience that we never wanted to do again because we were all so scared and we were never going to be able to sleep again. Everyone's like, no, not a game. I thought someone said it was a game. No, secure, contain, protect, special containment procedure. They may be different things. Alright, someone explain to me exactly what this SCP is. Read SCP Foundation, please. Okay, it's more of a setting. There is a weird horror game called Close Your... Okay, no. Open source horror. Right. Oh, okay, so this is something people want me to read. There is a game now, but it's creepypasta. Alright, so it's not necessarily great. Okay, alright, let's... I will look into SCP Containment Breach. Oh, no, you're saying that's a game in the setting. SCP is a short story in the form of a report by the fictional SCP Foundation that aims to contain the supernatural. Oh, okay, thank you, Hamish. I will look up what SCP is and see what it is. Alright, let's get back to this game, because I've just been, like, answering questions and talking for a while now. Alright, come to our attention that the zero advocacy communities felt the previous assignment was not inclusive. This time send only zeros to the outbox. What happens to other numbers and letters? Management leaves that detail up to you. Okay, so this is probably now going to be the code that I actually wrote the first time. So we take it from the inbox, and if 0, we're going to take it to the outbox. I'm wondering if I need the if 0. I still need the if 0, right? So if it's not 0, we go back to the inbox again. And after the outbox, we also go. I'm not sure if this is the most... both jumps going to the same place makes me feel like there's a better way of doing this. But we'll see. This is me using autotest to see if I've done it right. I just run it and see if it works or not. Okay. I've taken 3 more steps than I should have, which means that... if 0, take it to the outbox and leave. If otherwise, jump there. Okay. So somewhere this thing is taking some extra steps, and I assume it's taking extra steps for the ones that it was non-zero. I can't remember if they were exactly the right number. There were exactly 3 of them, or it was maybe if the 0, we go to the outbox and then we jump. It doesn't look like there's anything that's wasting a step anywhere. What do people think? I can remove the first jump loop. This one? I don't know if that's going to end up taking another step. I mean, yes, because that's going to... Or... No, because we have to send only 0s to the outbox. Maybe this is... not quite the right way of doing things. Oh no, but I've got to do a jump if 0. The jump if 0 is the only way I can skip code. If 0, then jump back to the inbox. Oh no, the 0s have to go to the outbox this time. So if the 0s have to go to the outbox, then this jump if 0 has to lead to outbox. The only thing is if it's non-zero... So what I was going, if it's non-zero, then we're going to go back to the inbox. But obviously I'm using too many steps somewhere here. So Lux is asking, have I played 5D chess with dimensional time travel? I have not played 5D chess with dimensional time travel. That sounds like something out of Star Trek. If 0, then jump after the outbox. If 0, I don't think that's what you mean, is it? Okay. So we're taking from the inbox and we're testing if it's 0 or not. That's our first split. So if it is 0, then it's going to the outbox. Otherwise, we go back to the inbox. This doesn't feel like there's anything that I can optimize in it, but there must be something that I can optimize here. So it's definitely doing the right thing. It has the lowest number of commands, but it's definitely taking more steps. Inbox jump if 0, outbox jump. You think you're taking this one out. The downside to this is everything's going to make it to the outbox then, which is going to fail this. That's what I reckon is going to happen. Because this jump if 0 is now no longer doing anything. We could take this out, and then all we're doing is this, which is not going to be correct. Right, the second I put one of these there, it's going to fail. Yep. So we need the jump if 0 to be testing whether things are going to the outbox. Oh, I've got an idea. I got an idea. Okay, look at this. Maybe this, right? Outbox doesn't matter. Hopefully that doesn't do anything if it has never gotten anything before. If we take something in the inbox, and if it's 0, we jump up here to dump it in the outbox, and then we come and pick up another thing. If it's not 0, then we jump straight back to the inbox. I don't know if this is actually going to give us a more efficient run, but it's testing less things. Let's see if this even works. Because I've already wasted... Nah, there you go. Nah, can't go straight to the outbox. Shitake was saying the same thing. Can you start at the outbox and then go to inbox? But apparently we can't. Jump to the line after outbox. That's what you were thinking of, Shitake. And Izzy thinks I'm being clever, but I'm wrong. So it's not necessarily clever. Tawaka's saying, is it possible to do recursion in this game? There's no function calls yet, but maybe there will be function calls later. But until then, there isn't. So this tricky idea only works if we start somewhere else. So inbox has to be the first thing that we call when we start the game. Jump, if 0 has to be the next thing that we call, that's going to branch. Well, I don't know if it has to, but I think it has to. So we're going to branch between zeros and non-zeros. So if it's 0, we're definitely outboxing. If it's not 0, we're inboxing. I don't want to put another inbox in there, but I don't know if that's wrong. So if it's 0, we jump to the outbox. If it's not 0, then we get something from the inbox. And if it's 0, we jump to... Oh, I figured it out. We're going to brute force this thing. Yes. Beautiful. Beautiful code. Everyone should write code like this. This is going to work as well. Because each one of these is now no longer checking and running another jump command to go back up above. But each one, if it's 0, it's coming up here to the outbox. And if it's not 0, it's coming in, it's just grabbing something else from the inbox. Let's see if this even runs. This is like so bad. This is so horrible. Alright, yes, the 0 goes to the outbox. That's fine. And then, so now if we have chains of things that aren't 0, I mean there's only a pair of them there, but if we have chains of things that's not 0, they won't cost as much commands. This is so bad. So bad. Okay, 3 gets thrown away, 0 goes to the bottom. Come back here, -2 triggers that one, E triggers that one, then that one goes there. Oh, it's working. Oh, it's the worst code I've ever written, but it's working. Did that do it in less instructions? It'd be funny if it didn't even do that. So I've definitely failed the size challenge this time. There's no way I'm getting around that. Yes! Submit it. It's done. Okay. So what we have done here is we've successfully programmed something by deprogramming everything that we've learnt about writing good code. We have deprogrammed ourselves to write really shit code that runs fast. By the way, there is gainful employment for people out there who can do this. Because sometimes running things fast is more important than having it readable or ever in a situation to be modified or used ever again. But you will always be the last person in the chain. Everyone else will make the code and the logic and make it all correct. And then you'll go in and screw everything up and manually allocate all the memory right next to each other in RAM so that they can be picked up one at a time and all this kind of really, really full-on stuff. But your code will look like this. I'm glad we did that. I'm glad that was funny. Okay, let me see what people are saying about that. Someone said, Abraham liked putting outbox first, thought that was close. And then after that, everyone was like, Hamish was like, Mark, why? Blake was RIP style. Someone else was, oh my god. Joseph was, oh my god. Sulux was, Jesus Christ. But then Nicholas was like, I did this in CS Beats. Hey, it works, right? Izzy's asking, is it possible to get both size and speed optimization at the same time? Some of these, especially as they get more complex, it is not possible. Some of them you've got to go one way or the other, like we just did there. That was the first example where it was impossible to get both at the same time. And Abraham RIP size challenge. Yeah, definitely. Rip. No way, no chance there. 1511 style from BT. Ford was saying that won't save steps, but it did. It saved all of the jump steps that went back up. Well, not all of them. It saved just enough of them so that it wasn't going back up. Jaden's asking, what is the time and space complexity of this program? I'm not going to do an analysis on it, but it would be pretty funny. Samuel said, premature optimization is the root of all evil. So, yes, and everyone's like, if it works, it works. Nicole said, and Blake's like, hey, nice. So, yeah, it totally worked out. BT, it's the worst code I've ever written, but it's working. Was me during the 1511 exam. We do put a lot of pressure on people in exams. I mean, like, which is like, you know, one thing, it's like, yes, it's bad to put pressure on people, but another thing, it's like, you're gonna get pressure sometimes, so maybe it's good. I don't know. It's always... I'm always like, you know, like being an educator, I'm always constantly questioning myself, because it's always like, is this the right way to actually teach people things? Like, you need to decide if what you're doing is actually like going to help people learn stuff, or what you're doing is just inducing trauma in like 1,000 humans at a time, and no one has the right to do that kind of thing. So like, you want to be really careful with what you're doing. So yeah, it's always like, how much pressure is a good amount of pressure to put on people so that they can then succeed against pressure in the future? Because there's always a point of pressure you put on people, and then they will succeed in nothing immediately. You will break them. But there's amounts of pressure where you can take people just beyond where they're comfortable, but not too far. And then from then on afterwards, they'll be like, oh, I can handle more pressure than I did before because I succeeded through that thing. But yeah, it's always hard to decide exactly how much is going to work. Especially when you're like teaching 1,000 people at a time. I don't think that's the right number of people to be teaching at once. But, you know, that's why we split everyone up into classes, and like you can get some personal attention and stuff. But it's always, it's weird. I have no right answers to a lot of questions about teaching. People think I know how to teach, and it's like, I know a little bit about how to teach, but I still have a lot of unanswered questions that, like, maybe, where do I see myself 5 years from now? I see myself having answered some of those questions and have a bit more certainty about what I'm doing, and then a bit less certainty about other things, because I will have progressed to another problem which I won't know anything about. There you go. That's where I see myself in 5 years. Take that. Take that, interviewers. Okay, people were laughing at the stuff I was doing in the code there. Reverse clever, says Shitake. Number one rule program, if it works, who cares? Don't touch it, that's what Joseph said. Magic was saying Control-C, Control-V. I don't think copy and paste actually works in this. I've been playing the sequel to this game, 7 Billion Humans, and you can't copy and paste blocks of code. You can copy and paste an entire program, but you can't select little parts of it. Oh, Dylan said, I was wrong, you can get both here. I was saying, like, in general, like, you, in a lot of these challenges, getting speed and size at the same time is, like... I thought it was some of them impossible, but Dylan thinks that some of them can be done. So Dylan does... I assume you've already played this game, and so you've got solutions to these that can get both at the same time, which is cool. I haven't really dug through this. Andrew is saying, by the way, is question 6 in the exam about stack? I'm not going to say anything about the exam. Other than, like, I hope you're all glad the exam's over now. We haven't started marking it yet. We're still dealing with, like, a couple of people who forgot to submit things. It's like, we have to dig into your, like, into your actual accounts and find files, make sure they weren't edited after a certain time, and then do the submission for you and stuff like that. So, like, we're not going to talk about questions. I'm not going to go on record on YouTube answering exam questions. What are we saying? Jaden said, you looked at the question 6 and cried because it said don't use arrays. Okay. Oh my god, people are just talking about the brackets things. Alright, let's keep going. Subtraction? Never learned that in school. Oh, those are the funniest things with people, like, when I was teaching people how to do stuff, and it's like, you should remember this from school, and they're like, I didn't study that in school. I know they taught it, but I didn't remember it. And it's like, you know, you need that to make computer games, and they're like, why did no one ever tell me that? I would have learned it in school if I'd known that. It's like, yeah, trigonometry. You should have done it. That's how things aim. Anyway. Okay. What are we doing here? For each two things in the inbox, subtract the first from the second and put the result in the outbox. And then subtract the second from the first and put that result in the outbox. Repeat. Okay. So, I think you're going to get this idea of how I do things, in that I will, like, I'll start with, like, what I call a brute force solution, which is the simplest way I can think of to do something. And then I'll just try to overcomplicate it later to, like, make it go fast and stuff like that. So often I won't go for the optimization challenge in the first one. They give you 3 tabs. So you can be like, simple solution, short number of commands solution, and then fast solution if you want to. Or if you're like Dylan, you do it all in one, by the sounds of it. BT is like when one of the auto tests was like a whole series of square brackets in different orders. I think that's pretty funny. Anyway, yes, as Dylan was saying, let's not talk about the exam, because some people haven't done the exam yet. We don't want to just, like, kind of talk about all the style of all the questions and then end up, like, kind of giving someone who's taking the SUP exam a complete guide on how to do it. That's a bit weird to do that. Blake, remember when they taught long division in primary school and then it didn't come back until polynomials 6 years later? I forgot that, like, long division was something that you ever used again after the first time you learnt it. Anyway, okay, so we're subtracting the first from the second. So if we've taken something in the inbox, we put the first one in 0 and the second one in 1, and we're still holding the second one. So we can subtract 0 from the second one, subtract the first from the second, subtracts the tile on the floor from what I'm holding. So that should subtract the first one from the second, and I can send what I'm holding to the outbox. Then I'm going to pick up the first and subtract the second from the first, and then dump that to the outbox and repeat. Okay, so that's my simple solution where I just go do this, then do this, then do this, then do this, then go. And hopefully that's going to work. So we got our 4, we've got our 9, subtract 9 from 4, and the 5 goes out first. Then 4 minus 9, negative goes out next. Alright, and I think that's going to work. Beautiful. Oh! Turns out the brute force solution was actually the minimal way of doing that in both. I didn't think it was going to be that easy. A lot of these things actually surprise me, where I'm like, I do it, and then they go, there's ways to optimize this. And it's like, no, there aren't. And it's like, well, obviously there are, because someone else has gotten that answer. If they're able to do it, and go, oh, okay, well, you go back and you fiddle with things and stuff like that. Joseph Rabello. Remainder theorem all the way. BT saying, step 1 of polynomial division, MATLAB. MATLAB's better than Maple, I hope. In terms of server stability. I was so freaked out about our own server stability for the exam on the weekend, because, like, it actually wasn't 100% stable. Did anyone get, like, what was it, fork errors when they were using SSH to Corelli, which is one of our VS Code servers? We actually just, like, the computer support group actually put together another VS Code server in the last couple of weeks, just on the idea that we were about to really overload their VS Code servers this weekend. And so they had that second server that we could load balance by sending some people over to that server if the first one was too full. So if anyone had those errors in the exam and got told by us to try switching to the other server, That was what we were doing. It was like we were just trying to, because we hadn't set up everything for load balancing yet. We just gotten enough to be like, we have two computers running the same code. It's like, all right. So if anyone gets overloaded on this one, we'll just send them to the other computer, which is currently not loaded, and hopefully that splits everyone up. Yeah. Dylan, let's not talk about that, Mark. Makes me sad. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like, it's on its way. We are getting to the point where we can run VS Code SSH within the school, and things will actually work. It's a little bit messy still, though. I don't think VS Code was ever made for this kind of level of sort of massive number of users, organization, all going into like one set of server infrastructure. Most organizations, if they have like, say, I don't know how many people are in CSE. I'm thinking like 5 to 10,000 students. If we actually had that many people working in a company, there's no way they'd all be on the same servers. You know, we would be splitting them up into different work groups and stuff like that. Some people would just never even meet other people in the company because they'd be like, no, we work in completely different divisions. There's just no reason we would ever even see each other's code or anything like that. And so we just like split it all out, you know, and it's nice and distributed. No server ever gets loaded up with like 1,000 people trying to push a deadline at exactly the same time. However, educational institutions are very different. Actually, it's a funny thing. My dad used to work for a ticketing company, and he said the software load on software was actually a hardware load on those companies was enormous, because it was like you'd get the tickets being released for like a really big event. So like one was like a Grand Prix, which is like, you know, Grand Prix's got enough space to fit thousands of people, and everyone wants tickets, and so they all tried to get tickets at the same time, and the server infrastructure just couldn't handle it. And this was before you could just spin up a few extra AWS instances and get more CPUs to throw at the problem. People were still actually just like running things on a computer in the basement of their office and like trying to get everything to go there. And so for them to handle the load of ticket releases, they would need the kind of server architecture that they really didn't need, like way more power than they needed, just for these little spike times. And so he said it was like just one of the dilemmas of that industry, and I found that really interesting. Nowadays it's really easy, because you go like, you know, 20 minutes before the release of these massive tickets, we spin up like 10 times our normal infrastructure in AWS nodes, and we go, right, we've got all the computers to deal with this. It's going to be super expensive, but we're only going to be handling this load for like 5 hours or so, and then we just turn off those nodes again afterwards, and we go back to having cheap infrastructure. So it's like, yeah, it's like interesting stuff to think about. What are we looking at here? Oh, Dylan saying, fun fact, VS Code can't be load balanced. Oh, that's awkward. I didn't know that. I've not been privy to everything that's been happening in the infrastructure at the back there. Oh, and Matthew is saying that VS Code 2 died at the beginning and didn't recover. Oh, that's awkward. I didn't realize that things were that bad. What are people talking about? Matrices. Maths, ASCII memorization, and alphabet index skills. Jennifer said, I'm not sure what that was that you're working on there, but that sounds pretty full on. Okay, let's keep going here. Some numbers are bigger than others, and sometimes they are the same. How could we know? How could we know? I do love the banter in this game. It's quite funny. I think someone was asking earlier. I didn't quite answer. I think that Blake was asking earlier if I played Little Inferno, which is made by the same people. Yeah, I did. It was very cute. It was a very interesting little game. There's like, what is it? It's My Little Inferno, and World of Goo was another game they made, which is really interesting. This company actually dates back to the kind of, I don't know whether you'd call it the first or the second generation of indie games. So I feel like the first generation of indie games is like some of the really famous titles like Braid, Super Meat Boy, what else was I thinking of? Maybe Fez. Fez kind of counts as second generation because it took them so long to make it. But those games that when Xbox Live kind of kicked in and started this kind of indie revolution, and Steam got involved as well, and it was like, maybe we don't need to have massive publishers behind every game. Maybe these small games can go. And then Kickstarter appeared as well, and all this kind of stuff happened. This company was there near the beginning with a game called World of Goo, and so they were like quite famous at the beginning as like one of the first indie companies, and then they did these, and it was really interesting. So it's pretty cool stuff. Anyway, let's keep going here. Cave story. A friend of mine's brother was like one of the biggest of the first Kickstarters. I don't know if they were the very first Kickstarter, but have people heard of a game called FTL? Like, I assume people, like, a lot of people who are playing games have probably heard of FTL and Into the Breach. So, like, a friend of mine who I met through doing game jams in Sydney and stuff like that, his brother was, like, one of the people that made FTL, and they had a really weird kind of thing, because they showed the game, very exciting stuff, and they did a Kickstarter, and then they were like, $2 million later, they were like, oh, what are we gonna do with all this money? And it's like, the game was gonna get made for like this much and stuff, and so they were just like, let's just bank it in the name of the company, and we'll use it to do more stuff for the company and stuff, because like, I'm not sure what to do, because I think FTL ended up pretty huge, and they went to iPad and stuff like that with it and things. So yeah. Yes, it looks like people know FTL by that. Yeah. I've been playing a bit of Into the Breach. It's really, really good. Ha ha ha, Andrew. I used to play FTL while watching 1511 lectures. I don't know whether to be angry about that or not. It's such a good game, though. It's a very good game. Anyway, okay, let's see where we're going here. A little bit of history for you there. Which number are you for the aspirational 0? You can borrow it later. Okay, get 2 things from the inbox. If they are equal, put one of them in the outbox. Discard non-equal pairs. Repeat. Oh, we have comments. You can use them to mark sections of your program. We got one here. Hello world. Not hello world anymore. I'm gonna undo that. Okay, so we've got hello world. We've got comments if we want them now, which is nice. So obviously they're saying that our code's gonna get bigger than a single page, and we're gonna want to know things about it. Okay, so we're gonna inbox and send that to 0. Interesting thing, if you want to watch it, I think it's even available on Steam, but it's available other places as well. There's a movie called Indie Game, the movie. It's really old now, actually, because the indie revolution was like, what do I want to say about this? 2006? 2005? I can't remember. I mean, it was like an Xbox 360 era, so it has to be around then. I want to say even earlier, 2004, 2005, I don't know, but around then, you know. And they made a movie then about some of the first indie games. So I think they did Braid, Super Meat Boy, Fez. Did they do another one? Or maybe it was just those 3, and they followed them through their development and their release and stuff like that. So someone guessed that things were about to get big, and they made a movie about it. And it's quite an interesting movie. So it was one of the things that kind of like, a whole bunch of us at the time were making indie games and stuff like that. And like, for a lot of us, it was like, watching that movie was like, I cannot do this. I'm not going to go into indie games because I don't have the headspace to survive what they seem to be going through. Like, it didn't seem like anyone who was making indie games at that time was dealing with it. Was in a good mental health situation. So we were just like, wow, if that's what it does to you, maybe I'm just gonna go get like a day job. You know, I'm just gonna do normal stuff. I went into VR stuff instead, which was actually a really good job. But you know, Nick Sim saying, now you can get 1521 style marks by using commenting. Izzy, the movie's called Indie Game, the movie. I think it's... I don't know where it's available, but I know you could even buy it on Steam for like $5 back in the day. Phil Fish, yeah, the Fez guy. It is kind of sad, but Phil's a weird guy. Oh, what was his name? The guy who made Braid. Jonathan Blow. And he ended up huge. He did Witness as well, which is a really interesting game. And he, at the beginning, didn't realize that every single person, because he didn't realize how big his game had gotten, and he went and answered forum posts all around the world about his game, and it was kind of like, dude, don't get involved. Like, he would argue with every single person who played his game that, like, they weren't understanding it properly. They weren't seeing the vision that he'd put into it, because he did put some wonderful vision into it. It's like a really artistic game, but a lot of people were just enjoying it because you go forwards and backwards. It was like Mario, but you could reverse time. Like, how cool is that? And that's it, you know? And and so he got into a whole lot of internet arguments and ended up, I think, really burning himself out over that. And it was kind of like, okay, dude, at some point you just got to take the money and walk away, because you made a lot of money, but now you're like killing yourself over this because I don't think he was ever really in it for the money. He was in it for the vision. And because people didn't quite understand his vision, he wasn't too happy with how things happened. I don't know if that's the right read on it, but it feels like it was. And so yeah, I think he ended up in a very bad place psychologically, which he really took himself there in that. But I think it's hard. It's hard if you've got a lot of attention on you. It's hard to deal with, I think. People talk about Hollow Knight. I've not played Hollow Knight. That could be interesting. Abraham said, has being familiar with game design actually ever ruined a game for you? Abraham, being familiar with game design has ruined every single game for me. And that's something where I used to teach people, like anyone who wanted to get into making computer games, is like, the deeper you go into this, the less you'll be able to just enjoy anything. You will never be able to enjoy anything again. Like, I'm looking at this screen right now, and I'm looking at how big this arrow is, and how it just kind of pops out of here, and how this thing is moving, and how it's attracting attention, and how all of these people are fidgeting and blinking and stuff like that, and why all of this stuff is so important. It's super important. Like, attention to the things that are happening. It's really intuitive here. This is like a pinnacle of good interface design, this game. It's not the only one. There's plenty of games that have good interface design, but this is brilliant, right? Because this thing here and this thing here just getting real oversized and glowing and being the functional color as well. Look at the color design of this. Functional colors, non-functional colors, desaturated sepia colors. It's really obvious where your attention needs to be to make this thing work, while at the same time all of these things have character and they're not boring. They have interesting animations happening even when they're idling and stuff like that. It's brilliant. Like, for a while there before, I was just watching these pipes go up and down and seeing the envelopes racing each other, and like, that was interesting too. So yes, I can't help it. But this is a very good game, so I'm still involved, you know. Anyway, let's see what else we were talking about here. But, you know, like, yeah, when I say ruined every game, it's also given me a deeper appreciation of every game. So when someone really is thinking about their game when they make it, I know why. I don't know about all games, I think, but some games I can really tell. But yeah, it's kind of like that. I mean, like, it's nearly like, it's like anything else, you know. If you drink a lot, eventually you're going to reach this kind of point where you're like, do I want to be an alcoholic, or do I want to start, like, you know, like, caring a bit about maybe, like, fine wines or scotch? People get into scotch like crazy, right? You know, so, like, you can do that kind of thing where you go, I just want to go deeper into the more interesting ways of doing these things, rather than just getting pissed every weekend and just, like, destroying my brain, you know? So it's like, you get that kind of thing where, and originally, if you were to look at these things, you would have, like, I don't understand why this $300 bottle of scotch is any better than this Jim Beam over here, because both of them are going to get me the same amount of drunk. So what's the point? Sorry, I'm trying to look at this from a student's perspective. I don't know if it's even really like that anymore. I don't know if what's happened over the last year has made everyone kind of like drinking is so much more sad now because you're drinking alone at home. But like, I guess here in Sydney we're a bit more loose with that, where like you can actually go out and drink again. But yeah, I'm just kind of like, I'm acting on the assumption that everyone's just sort of like the two reasons I came to uni was, one, to learn stuff, and the other thing, drink a lot and go hang out with people and stuff, you know? So like, that's where I'm going with that. But you know, everything that you want to do, the deeper you go into it, the more risk You put yourself out of like knowing more about things, but knowing more about it means you pick more at it and stuff, or like you can see the problems in things that you wouldn't have seen before. But you get deep into filmmaking, and like there's a whole lot of films that are no longer fun. Like there's like god awful action films can be a lot less fun if you really know how something should be put together, stuff like that. And something like Michael Bay's Transformers is a travesty and should never have been made. I don't think you need to be that deep into filmmaking to know that. Anyway, let's let's see what people are talking about. So people are saying Hollow Knight and Dark Souls. Oh my god, you're just picking games that I'm going to be bad at, because I know the Souls series and it's like really good and stuff, but I've never played a single game in that series, and I know that they're just really hard melee combat, and I have a feeling I'm going to be really bad at it. Yeah, and so people are saying that like they played really deep into Dark Souls, which I'm sure people have because it's such a good game. Sulux is asking you if I played the PC Building Simulator. I have not played PC Building Simulator, only I saw it was on sale today and I nearly bought it, and the thought, that is a dumb thing to buy. I don't need to simulate building a PC on my PC. I used to build a lot of PCs, I don't even bother anymore. Izzy said Hollow Knight had some problems, wasn't for you. I think that's it. Like it's a like heaps of games are going to be like good games, but it doesn't mean they're for everyone. It means they're like, you know, like a really really good game is a game that like say 90% of people enjoy playing, and 90% is a really high number. I don't think there's really any games out there that 90% of people actually want to play, but I reckon you can have like, you know, you can have a very very successful game if like, you know, only like 60 or 70% of people who get the game and start playing it actually really like it and play it all the way through. It's really interesting when you look at the Steam achievements for a game and you look at the percentage of people, like you just do one playthrough through a game, you reach the end, and then you look at that achievement and the percentage of other people that have gotten that achievement, and you go, ooh, oh, this game is like, either you go, this game's going somewhere, or this game's not going anywhere. I played Star Wars Squadrons recently. I really enjoyed it because it was like trying to be a spiritual successor to X-Wing, which is like one of the games of my childhood. But when I finished the game, got the achievement for completing the game, and I saw that I was one of like, it was like 2 or 3% of people that had played the game all the way through to the end of the campaign, and I was like, oh, either I'm really really fast, which I'm not. I have other things to do in my life, but like, so I wasn't fast at the game, so I was thinking either I'm fast or no one likes this game, and I think that's where it was at. Yeah. Someone said Outer Wilds is good. I think Outer Wilds might be good. I've heard good things about it. Maybe I'll get it eventually. Schnelly, like having a physicist ruins action movies. Man, action movies never have correct physics. Abraham said VR stream went when. I don't have a VR kit at the moment. I should probably buy one. So the joke that I used to make is I was working in VR before it was cool. So I was working in VR before the headsets, and we were building giant rooms full of projectors and stuff like that for our VR. So it was a very different feel. But I should get a VR kit at some point. Maybe if everyone buys the t-shirts, I'll buy a Vive. I'm not even selling t-shirts. This is so funny. Jennifer, bold of you to assume alcohol is appealing. I know, I basically don't drink. So it's just like, it's just an assumption that a lot of people drink. So it's probably not entirely true. Drink tasting stream. Andrew was saying The Witchers. Yeah, the Witcher games are pretty cool. I unfortunately had not played any of the Witcher games, but played Cyberpunk, so my trust in the company is not super high. I may not necessarily actually get to the Witchers. Oh, Joseph's saying Aviation. You're talking about Aviation Gin. I just watched the ads for Aviation Gin, and I've never drunk it, because I'm not really a gin person. I'm actually one of those people that's ended up in the like $300 scotch realm, and I have bottles of scotch where I've drunk them and I drink them because they're amazing and they have this like this rich flavor and stuff like that. But what I will do is I will just drink one, and that's it. Like, you know, you have one little scotch, and that's like once a month at most, you know. So it's a completely different way of drinking than the stereotypical university student drinking. The stereotypical university student drinking is very very different. Anyway, and Blake is saying you don't like the pub atmosphere, and I can fully understand that. A lot of pubs are a bit weird. Everyone wants me to come to the pub crawl. I can't, unfortunately. It's sold out. Okay. I'm missing a lot of chat here. Shitake says Dark Souls isn't that hard compared to old NES games. Okay, maybe I could play it. I mean, I beat Street Fighter 2 back when it was current, so that was like one of the hardest games in the world back then. So maybe... Then again, I'm old and slow now. I'm missing a lot of chat here, so I think there's... Oh, Kerbal Space Program! Yes. I still never bought... Oh, did I buy it? I have a lot of stuff I've bought in Steam sales and have never opened. I think people do that. I think that's a thing. I think other people do that as well. Maybe I'll play Kerbal Space Program at some point, because I do like the idea of that game. Alright. Okay, so there's like lots of chat there. I do have to go back to the game. Let's get back to the game. Okay, so I'm copying one of them into 0. And I'm copying the next one into 1. And then if they're the same, then one of them goes into the outbox. And then non-equal pairs we discard. And there's nothing to discard, so we'll just leave them there, I guess. So if we've copied them... Actually, we don't even need to copy that to the inbox, the second one. I'm already optimizing as I'm doing it. So we've copied 1 to 0, and then we grab the other one, and then we subtract them. So if we subtract two numbers that are the same, then it should be 0. So if it's 0, then we need to pick one of them back up because we're holding a 0. So if we're holding a 0, then we copy from the one that was there and we dump that to the outbox. If not, we go back and get another set of numbers. Feels right to me, yeah? So we get the two numbers, we get the number, get one of the numbers, set it up, get a second number, check them against each other. If they can be subtracted from each other to equal 0, then they go to the outbox. Otherwise, we go back to the beginning and get another set of numbers. Seems right? Let's see if this works. 7. 2 minus 7, not equal 0, get new numbers. 7. 7 minus 7 equals 0, pick up the 7, outbox, yes. Oh wait, I forgot to loop back. Yeah, okay, still. I'm still happy with that. Forgot to loop back to start again. Alright. What are people saying here? Someone said The Witcher 3, Babatunde Okoye is saying The Witcher 3 was so good, so maybe I should go back to The Witcher 3. I still finished Cyberpunk 2077, even though, like, I fully lost one of my save games when it got corrupted, but I still went back and finished it. So I guess I still like it, and I don't mind, like, the storytelling and the world building that they did, so maybe The Witcher is good. And I've got like this backlog now because I haven't watched the TV series either, because I'm just like, why would I bother watching the TV series if I haven't played the games, you know? So it's like there's a whole stream of entertainment there that I could get into if I wanted to. But you know, I also don't watch that much TV. I watch a bit, but not a stupid amount. So like, it's like I don't have time for that much stuff. Have seen some cool stuff recently. Netflix has been on a good roll. So Shadow and Bone, quite interesting. I always love it because it's like kind of tropey, stereotypical teen fantasy kind of thing, but it's still written really well, and it's still like played really well, and it's been on the top of Netflix for a while, and I think for good reason. I've really enjoyed it. I haven't finished it, so don't say anything about it. But also The Mitchells versus the Machines. I loved it. It was so cute. It was really good, and it was like because it's done by a lot of the same team that did A, the Lego Movie, and B, Spider-Man. What's the subtitle of the Spider-Man one? The best Spider-Man, the Spider-Verse, Into the Spider-Verse. That's the one. So it's got that really cool animation style, but it's also got this kind of hilarious comedy and also just kind of quirky, fun characters to it. So I really enjoyed that. If you're looking for things to watch, those are a lot of fun. Okay, someone's telling me to write comments. Oh, see you later, Izzy. I don't know if you've already left. Going to study and do your exam tomorrow, which is a good idea. I think you should do that. Someone's playing Mortal Kombat, Don't Starve, other things people are saying. Back in the day, there was Street Fighter versus Mortal Kombat, and I was on the Street Fighter side, so I didn't bother learning Mortal Kombat, because I was like, once you're good at one of those games, you don't play the other, because it's like, no, I just want to keep winning on this one. And so that's funny because like I was on that side, and it was like I was also on the Sonic versus Mario side. I was on the the dumb side of that one. I was on the Sonic side. History has proven the Mario people correct there. What was the other thing that I was on? Oh, I can't remember. There's always this weird kind of sides. Oh yeah, Quake versus Unreal back in the day as well. Yeah. Anyway, someone said I have to put a header comment in. Hello world doesn't count. All right, fine. All right, I'm gonna comment my actual things. Get to nums. Yeah, you can totally read that. If same. That's enough. You get 2 nums, and if they're the same, you jump to here, and then you send that out. That's enough comments. I don't think this needs that many comments. We'll see. Okay. I think it worked. Sonic Mania is good. I should go back and play it. I have an old love for Sonic. Oh, one too many. We have to fix this now. Alright, people said Sonic Mania is good. I will look up Sonic Mania then. Blake's on Team Mario. Okay. There's one too many things. But this thing's looping every time, so there's just once there's one too many. Or if I can take one command out of this loop, then I'll be way under the speed limit. Paris, hi. Oh my god, hi to you also. Did you only just discover that this stream was happening? Shiitake, they realized they couldn't make a good Sonic game, so they had fans do it. I think that's probably true, because I think the whole Sonic thing came and went, in a sense. So Sonic was huge back in the day, and then all the people that made Sonic went off into other companies, and they've probably done some amazing things, but it was the kind of thing you could never get them back together again for something. So maybe getting other people to do it who love it, and wanted to kind of recreate it is good. But yeah, I will look up Sonic Mania. No point in trying to make 3D Sonic good. Okay, so how do we make this more efficient? So I've copied one to the inbox, from the inbox to 0, and then I've picked up another. So that's minimal. Like, we have to do that. We have to pick up both, and one of them has to be saved. And then we subtract them both. And then if there's no difference between them, we go here and we do stuff. If there was a difference between them, we come back up to here and we go back to the inboxes. That part of it seems pretty optimized. But here, we copy from the 0. We have to copy from the 0 because we've already subtracted, we're not carrying it, so we do have to do the copy. And then we dump that in the outbox. That has to be done. And then we go back. So the first thing I'm thinking is we can do the dodgy thing again and just copy this multiple times here so that we're not having to do the jump. But I feel like that's a dumb way of optimizing. Of just like expanding all of our loops. Because all I'd have to do was copy paste this. Actually, I can't, because copy pastes the entire program. And if I paste, it will clear everything and paste. So I would have to just do this whole thing again here and put that below the jump, and then we would take one instruction out every 2 times we loop. That is super dodgy, but I know it's going to work. Because I did it before, and it definitely worked. Oh, people talking about Smash Brothers. That's another game that I never really got into, but could be fun. I don't know if there's a... Can anyone else see an optimization? Maybe the entire structure of what I'm doing is not the best that it could be. Maybe something to do with these jumps goes differently? Nah, but the F-Zero has to come after the test. Sub-Zero. Speaking of Mortal Kombat. Nicole's asking if I've played Plants vs. Zombies. I played the hell out of Plants vs. Zombies on, like, an old iPhone, like, a million years ago when it first came out. And yeah, I played the crap out of it. It was so much fun. I thought it was good. Dylan, now you're sad again. Optimize the algorithm. It's because I've just done like a straight brute force algorithm here, haven't I? So, maybe I don't need to do anything else here, or you can clearly see where I'm not optimizing this. Jared, whoever wins the Smash tourney gets bonus comp 1511 marks. As I have said before in the intro video to this, at no point will students ever be getting marks from a competition from me. But if you want to fight in a gladiatorial arena for my entertainment, then I'm more than happy to set that up. Sonic and the Dark Knight soundtrack? Is that like mixing those two soundtracks together? Sam was talking about that. Peter, you used to steal your friend's iPhone to play Plants vs. Zombies, I think. Not a very good friend as a 10-year-old. Man, 10-year-olds with iPhones. That is an interesting thing. Showing my age here. There was no internet when I was 10. We barely had computers. And we had to walk through the snow both ways to get to school. And we had to walk through the snow to get to school, and it was uphill both ways. Oh, Dylan saying move output to the start to minimize jumps. Wait. This and this? There? Oh wait, no, I did the wrong thing. If it's 0... No, this goes after this. Not sure if I'm understanding. Hey Jack, how's it going? Imagine not doing the very specific combo of courses you did and still having exams left. I guess that's the thing for me. Like, I actually, like, right now, I'm really free because I have to wait for auto marking to happen on the exam before I'm needed for anything. So today, work for me was just like, oh, right, I have like 300 emails in my inbox. I might need to do something about those, you know. I didn't make much of a dent either, but like, you know, just helping admin stuff that CSE needs. I feel like Dylan knows exactly what I'm doing wrong here, but I haven't really looked at it. Jack said you have 4 weeks off. You've never had 4 weeks off at uni before. Yeah, that would feel good. That's a bit awkward. I mean, back in the day, when I went to UNSW, there were 2 semesters, and in those semesters we had 14 weeks of teaching. So we had 7 weeks midterm break and 7 weeks, and like it's a completely different feel. Because I think back then every subject that we did had more content in the subject, but you do less of them. Actually, no, we did the same number of subjects, but you do more of them at a time. So we do 8 of them in a year. We do 4 of them in the first half of the year, 4 of them in the second half of the year. The only problem is, like, now I think you do 3, 3, and 2 or something, and like the number of subjects you're doing at the same time is less, which maybe is better. Except that in order to squeeze 3 terms in a year, they're all much shorter now, so you have to learn in a more intensive way, I think. Which is like funny because the actual number of learning weeks that you do and the number of subjects you do per year is the same. Because you've got like 27 learning weeks, and I had 28, and I did 8 subjects a year. You'll probably do 8 subjects a year, but they're just chopped up into these 10-week, well, 9-week things, whereas mine were like these big 14-week things, but you had to do more subjects simultaneously, so, you know, it's interesting. Alex said, oh my god, 1131. Do you mean maths 1131? At least you're not the guy in charge of 1131. I would hate to be um, in charge of a subject where the server died during the exam. I obviously was watching that a lot and fearing for my life if something was going to fall over at CSC while we were running our exam. It would be like, yeah, like that would be my head on the block there. But I thought that we were reasonably prepared in that, like, we had planned, well, not me, other people who knew better than me had planned for VS Code being a potential problem in the exam, and VLab we knew wasn't going to be a problem for most people wasn't going to be a problem because we'd run it with this many people before. I think the only downside is for anyone who's overseas, VLab's not really feasible. Like I assume, like, even not in Sydney, VLab's not feasible because you can't get a whole VNC screen to someone overseas and expect it to be consistent and lag free. It's just not going to happen. But VS Code's okay, but then VS Code gets overloaded because there's heaps of our international students who can't get to Australia, and they have to use those systems more. And so, like, it's good. There's a lot of good people in our computer support group, and they were helping us out with that kind of thing. Lil says, wasn't there a comp exam where the server went down? Yes, there was. 2511 last term, 20T3, I think. I think that was the one where they had their questions as well as some survey stuff on WebCMS, which was running on the same computer at the time that Give was running on, and everyone did their Give near the end of the exam at the same time, and it crashed both of them. So the Give was no longer accepting submissions, and anyone who was still working on the paper couldn't read the paper either because the same problem took down WebCMS at the same time, and so it was just like panic. The building's on fire level panic. Shaves was saying that 2511 server died in 20T2 and 20T2. See, that's bad. If it died in 20T2, then it should not have died in 20T3. But it's hard. It's hard, you know. Like, I know how much spare time I have if I have to roll the course into another. I've said this before, like, the time when I'm finished the term 1 course is week 3 of the term 2 course. So there will be things where I'll still be finalizing them and people have already gone on to other subjects, and I'll be like, I still haven't finalized everything. There's just too much work to do over the break. So it's like, you know, if people like have everything submitted, it's easy. You just add up their marks, and the marks goes into the university. You walk away. But if there's bits missing and we need to go find files for people, if we need to make sure we're supporting people who have special consideration and stuff. So there's extensions that go later. Supplementary exam is usually in the, like, you know, barely days before the before the next term starts. So it's like there's no way we can turn that around and mark it in time. So there's all this like this stuff that happens in between that's just like, we're just like a bunch of headless chickens running around, like just trying to sort out everything. And like, you know, obviously any problem, this is always funny, it's like every problem you think of, which is like something you think will happen very rarely, something that's unlikely to happen to anyone, like a problem that you consider only happens 1% of the time, it's so rare. We've got like 950, we only got 850 now students. But yeah, so if you think a problem is so rare that it only happens 1% of the time, then assume that I have 8 students with that problem. And then you have an inkling into what my life is like when I'm trying to finalize a subject as big as 1511. I looked today at the Math 1131 and 1141 information because I want to see if any of my friends were involved, because I know a bunch of other lecturers and stuff like that, and I was like, I feel sorry for them. And then I looked, and there's like 8 lecturers on that course, and I was like, oh my god, where's all my support? Why don't I have another like 6 lecturers that I can just be like, oh, you teach this bit, you teach this bit, and then we were all just like cruising. But I think that's just the way the maths is organized. Like, they may be not that many people, not much work on that subject, but they're probably spread out and having to do multiple subjects at once. So I understand why. Whereas like Comp 1511, I can just like continue the whole thing because I've got like a narrative kind of structure over the whole course, so it sort of works if I do it. But there was a part of me which was like, why don't I have lots of lecturers helping me out? Yeah. Anyway, so what do we got in chat? People are talking about, Give died. Oh, well, there's a bunch of like CSC soccer people here. Hi, Kaichi. And Nick's here as well. Peter's here. Shrey. Adam's asking, would the 1511 exam have been 3 hours if it was in person? Like, that's the sort of length it would be. Yes, Adam, it would have been 3 hours. The only way the 1511 exam can work is if we do it all in one day. And we can't fit everyone in the labs in one day, so we have to do 2 sessions in one day. So it's 2 3-hour sessions. There's no way we could do 6 hours. And it would have been much harder because there would have been no internet either. You would have had to done it on your own memory. What was I going to say? Well, oh yeah, but we would have written it differently. When it's open book, we write things in a more devious way to be like, we know that you can Google, we know that you can look up lecture material, so you can just copy paste solutions. If we asking you to memorize things and we're not giving you the lecture material or anything like that, then in those situations it'd be like, yeah, copy paste from the lecture slides probably would have been the answer to like the first couple of practical questions. So it's an interesting way to try to design the assessments around the situations that we have so that they still give us the same marks and they still give you the same marks. So that was like one of the most difficult things about forcefully going online in term 1 2020. That was probably like one of the toughest in terms of working times. That was probably one of the toughest working times in my life to get thrown into that. It was kind of like two ways though, because on the one hand, yes, it was tough, and on the other hand, it was quite exhilarating. Something about emergencies is actually a little bit fun for a while. And then you're like, no, we can't keep up this level of work. No, we will not survive it. You know? So it's like, there's this back and forth there. Adam says, thank God you had 6. And all the subject admins are in here talking about all the different things that blew up 2511 last year. So you're saying 1131 and 1141 maths had like 4 lecturers. That's pretty cool. Kaichi saying, imagine an exam without Stack Overflow. That's really interesting. I wonder what the future of exams is going to be now that we've been doing online exams for like 2 years. Will we just continue doing them? Or is there something else that we will do? I, in the back of my head, keep trying to redesign 1511 without an exam at all. Like, how can we assess everyone without a big monster of a thing at the end of the course? Like, could we assess everyone on their capabilities for all the different things that I need people to be able to do bit by bit as we go through the term? But as we potentially found out this term, that when I try to do reflections, when I try to do one-on-one things with tutors and students, it just eats up too much time, and there isn't enough time to do the course. So, we'll see. I thought it was a decent experiment to try to do that, but I don't think it was as popular as it could have been. Yeah. Anyway. Oh wait, Matthew's talking about the challenge on screen. I think this is like, yeah, both Dylan and Matthew have been looking at my code here for a while. I'm saying, can you fix this? But anyway, Matthew's saying, for the challenge on screen, move the 2 output commands to the very start. Put a jump before it to get to the normal start. Link the jump if 0 to before the 2 outputs, and a regular jump to the inbox. Okay. So we're talking about moving these to the beginning, and the jump if 0 there. But before that, we would go straight to the beginning of this. And if 0, we jump there, and if not 0, we jump here. Maybe this is the thing that takes us one less. There's one less test in here. Let's run it and see. Dylan, I think this is what you were saying as well, right? Because it's the same number of commands, and I think it's going to be hopefully within... Yeah, there you go. So I just had one extra check at the end because I was doing things in like the brute force order rather than moving things around. What are people saying? How likely are comp classes to be back in person next term? Lectures unlikely. We're still not... I think we're still not at a place with COVID-19 where we can think of putting 500 people in a room. I think that's still not on the cards. Uh, but tutorials and labs are getting more and more in person, because like up until now, I think 1511 reran with like 1/3 in person, 2/3 online, and people were actually asking for more in person, but we couldn't organize it in advance because all this stuff, like all these decisions are made like last year about where we think things are going to be, and then we start scheduling rooms like last year. But as we go through this term and this year, we're going to start doing a lot more stuff in person, I think. I'm going to expect that by term 3, we're going to end up with this kind of thing where it's going to be more like 2/3 to 3/4 of labs and tutorials are in person, and only some of them are online. We need to keep some of them online. Definitely accessibility reasons for people who aren't in the country, you know, that kind of thing. All right. Oh, I'm 15 minutes over the time I said I was going to be doing. But anyway, I knew I was going to do this. I'm going to do this last challenge. And complete it, and whatever chat happens during that, and then we will wrap it up. Ford wants lectures back. Yeah, I do understand that. I miss being in person, because there's a whole bunch of like feedback I get just from looking at people. Like, I've gotten really good at just delivering to camera now, and just living without the feedback, and I get some feedback from the text chat, but it's not the same. Because I used to look out at the audience, at you in the lecture theatre, and I'd look at people's faces, and I knew when things weren't sinking in. So it's like, yes, I start teaching linked lists, and everyone's like, what the fuck is that? You know, you can see people say that's really funny. It's like, I literally see students look at the screen, at the slides, and just go. And then I go, okay, I need to ease back on this, and I need to slow it down, I need to deliver it a different way, and stuff like that. So, yeah. Abraham, you mean no 2 a.m. stream? No, did I promised that, didn't I? That I was like, I was gonna keep. It was like, if I said it was gonna go for 2 hours, and we'd still be here at 2 a.m. Joseph, you almost missed the stream. Oh, well, you're here now, which is nice. As Dylan said, lectures will be the last thing back on campus because of size. When COVID first hit, when I did my last lecture in person, I remember, I think I said to Tom, this is privately, because we definitely weren't talking about this to the students or general public or anything, but I said to him, you know what this lecture is? This lecture is a super spreader event. If we get an infection in this lecture, every single person in this lecture lives in a different suburb in Sydney. They're all going to come in here, and they're all going to pick up whatever sickness is in here, and then they're all going to go home, and then the greater metropolitan region of Sydney, and probably some of the regional areas as well. Some people commute, you know, Central Coast, Wollongong and stuff like that. People go to uni commuting every day from those areas. They'll all get it. And I was like, holy crap. And I was like, the university should be like one of the first things that gets locked down. Like, and then like 2 days later, it was like, hey, we're locking it down. I was like, okay, good. And that was when the first outbreak happened, and there were 3 cases on campus, and then campus was like, no, that's it. Because I remember seeing that, or like there was like someone had visited the law building on campus and had tested positive, and I saw photos people put on social media of people in hazmat suits going in there, like, you know, they're full hazmat suits going in there with disinfectant to try to clean up the whole building so that it could potentially be used again in the future. It was like, whoa. And it was like, when we heard of those things, like, we knew something was up, and we were like, yeah. And within like 2 or 3 days, UNSW said, all right, that's it, no more in-person classes until we give you more information. Apologies, lecturers and subject admins, deal with this. And it was like but I mean, the good thing is we had thought that this was going to happen. I'd been doing live streaming before COVID, so I knew that I could just stream all of the course material if I had to. But then we had the big question of like, how are we going to do tutes and labs? Are they even going to work? And they sort of work, you know. I still think that people tell me that the in-person tutorials are better than online. And I don't know if that's a correlation between people who want to talk to me and people who like a lot of interaction, because it could well be a correlation, but who knows, you know. Yeah. Nicole said the time stream went for so long that I fell asleep in the middle of it. Very good times. Did you mean this stream now? Did you fall asleep in the middle and now you're back? It's pretty funny. Dwang, did you miss Chicken? No. Chicken, she came in at the beginning and now she's asleep over there. Let me give you, hang on. Go to my OBS. Enlarge. Oops, I'm dragging the wrong one. We are enlarging the camera view and we're going for chicken cam. Alright, chicken cam. Let's see how long my cable is. There's chicken cam right now. She's really not doing anything. She's totally chill. But we can give her a pat. Hello? Are you gonna say hello? No? Oh, maybe a little. There you go. This is what she does in the nighttime. So she will just like go there to that chair near where my desk is and stuff, and she'll just hang out there. That's how she hangs out with me basically. And then when I go to bed, she'll follow me, and then she'll come sleep on the bed. Oh, Nicole's saying you fell asleep in one of the older streams. There was a stream I did, I think, that, like, Dan Mansfield, I'd been on a stream with him, he went to bed, and I just kept going. And then we streamed for a very, very long time, because I hadn't made a plan for when that would finish. So that was when you slept through and then came back. Kaichi's saying 1531 was also very organized. Yeah, so it went online easily. Everyone got to see chicken. Everyone's very happy. Screenshots taken. Nicole said cool shirt. Yeah, okay, so it is... No, it's not. It's only 10:20. When it hits midnight, it'll be May the 4th. So that's Star Wars Day. May the 4th be with you. So if you haven't already bought every single Star Wars game that exists on Steam, not saying no judgment. No, obviously no judgment from me. If you've already bought every single Star Wars... If you haven't already bought every single Star Wars game on Steam, you can buy more of them. I think nearly every May the 4th, I buy more of them and thinking that I basically own everything that they've made, which is not great, because there's plenty of really bad Star Wars games out there. It's not as bad a record as Warhammer. Being a Warhammer fan and looking for good computer games, it's very, very hard to do. Okay. Yes, Alex, it's Boba Fett. Yeah, Nicole, it was the time where we went really kind of like... We got really I guess when I don't have like a game or something that I'm doing, I can get really really deep. The later it gets into the night, the more likely I am to just start talking about the philosophy of educating people and like morals and how we're going to make the world a better place and all this kind of stuff, you know, which is a little bit like fun to talk about, hard to actually implement, like programming. I kid. Okay, let's get into this final one, and then Dylan and Matt can pick at my code when I can't be... This is great. When I can't be bothered optimizing, I'll get someone else to do it. Alright, here we go. Accounting department has determined that treating all numbers equally is no longer profitable. Big numbers only. Okay, so this is going to be the same thing where the bigger one goes into the outbox. Equal, pick either. Alright, give me a second. Because I'm a good programmer. I know how to copy paste my code if the problem seems really similar. I'm literally going to do that. I'm going to copy paste this in and then just make the small changes that I need to make this work. Because that's what this feels like. Alright, two things, put only the bigger one in the outbox. So now we have jump if negative. So we subtract one from the other. And just going to pull this thing out. jump if negative. I don't know if that's the right one. So we're subtracting the one we're holding. We're subtracting the one on the floor from the one we're holding. If we subtracted the one on the floor from the one we're holding, then and that was negative. Oh, wait. If we're not sure which of these we're going to pick up, we need to save them both. Okay, so we save them both. We do the subtraction between them. If it's negative, it means that the one on the floor, the one in location 0, was bigger. Then we copy from 0 and we dump it out. This is not as simple. This is a forking thing. But if it's not negative, then we do it. Oh no, this is fine. This is totally fine. If it's not negative, then we do the other one. That outbox is being repeated. We copy from this one, then we jump to here. I think that's all we're going to need to do, right? So, we've placed them in positions. If that comment no longer makes sense, we subtract them. If the result of that is negative, then 0 is the one that goes to the outbox. Otherwise, 1 is the one that goes to the outbox. So go 1, 0 goes to the before that, 1 goes to there. And this still jumps over that. This should still be reasonably optimized from last time. I don't know if it's perfectly optimized. I actually don't know if it's even going to work. I think I've got these things in the right order. Let's try this. What have people been saying? Kaiji said had to rewind to read that the shirt says, "You're no good to me, dead." Yep. Dylan has 30 Star Wars games. Is that enough? Maybe. There are way too many Star Wars games in the world. Peter Darris, is Comp 1511 me torturing 1,000 people? That is a good question. I don't know the answer to that. Joseph said the best programming language is clearly the human resource machine. Yeah. Best IDE. This is such a messy IDE. It looks like that worked. Matt's already picked up something that I did. You can just put a jump if 0 jumping to the 2 outputs. Don't think that works. Wait, no, I get the control flow now. Yeah. Microsoft Word is the best IDE. Changed my mind. Oh, that is such a bad use of that meme. It's a good use of the meme, but my god. Word would be so bad. Okay, so you get the flow, right? So if it's negative, we copy from 0. Otherwise, we copy from 1, but both of them lead to going to the outbox. However, there is one more command than we need here, and one more step being taken as we've been using it. Nick Sims, pen and paper in software, in high school computing. Hey, Notepad, Param saying, how can you forget Notepad? Notepad++ is decent. Notepad++, if you're on... I think it's only on Windows. I don't know if Notepad++ is on Linux as well, but it's decent. It's got line numbers, it's got a bit of autocomplete, it's got syntax highlighting as well. You can get away with that. Like, sometimes if you want, like, a lot of us want really lightweight text editors. We don't want a real heavy IDE, like your Visual Studios and stuff like that. Sometimes you just want a text editor. Notepad++ is very good for that. Oh yeah, the throwback to me using Microsoft Word. That was me just like looking for some way to put text up on slides. I would have written on a board. I was going to do it on a whiteboard, but then I figured we might want digital copies of things, so I just typed it out. I used to lecture like that. When I didn't have time limits on my lectures, so I didn't have to fit in a 2-minute window, I would teach and I would type out the slides as I was teaching. I'd be like, think about this. All right, I'm going to leave some headings here and stuff so that you can go back over this and study it later. But I would actually have a Google Doc that I would share with my class, and I would be typing in it as we'd go along. It's a different way of doing things. The density of the way I'm teaching at UNSW would never allow that. Like, if I've only got 4 hours a week and 9 hours of delivery, 9 weeks of delivery, it's just not enough time to get a lot of subject matter out unless I've really carefully pre-prepared it. So it's like bam, 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 there it is. There's a lot of text on my slides I don't even refer to. I'm just like, you're going to read that later if you want to, and that's where you'll get that information. I'm just going to gloss over it, you know. So it's very, very quick sometimes. Joseph Wong. Reject high-level programming, return to assembly. Alright. I think Matt is still looking at the code here. Jump if negative, then jump if 0. Both pointing to the 2 output commands. Dylan says Ed. Oh, as in, like, Ed, the forum and teaching software. I didn't realize that was a good idea as well. I don't know if that's the Ed you're talking about, but that's the only Ed I know. Okay, let's see what Matthew is talking about here, because Matthew's still actually focusing on what I've got on screen. Jump if negative, then jump if 0, both pointing to the 2 output commands. Jump if 0? Why do we have a jump if 0? Jump if 0 is if they're the same. No, you weren't. Yeah, Dylan wasn't talking about Ed, the what's we call it? The forum software. You're talking about Ed, the text editor. Matthew was saying, is a condition for if they're the same? I don't think there is. Oh, wait, you're right. Grab 2 things from the inbox and put only the bigger of the 2 in the outbox. If they're equal, just pick either one. Repeat. Oh. Okay, no. See, the thing is, if one's bigger, you need one of them. You still need the bigger one, so there's only 2 cases. One is if the first one is bigger, it goes, and the other is the second one's bigger. So we've got the jump if negative takes the first one, and if it's not negative, it takes the second one, and they both end up at the same place, the same output. So I think that's still the 2 forks that need to happen. One is if one is bigger, and the other one's if the other is bigger or if they're the same. Yeah, Hamish is saying that he thinks it works for that already. And Abraham's saying, yeah, we don't need the equality case. Yeah, it's just 2 options. One is bigger, or the other one. At the moment, what we're doing is like, if 0 is bigger, it goes. If 1 is greater than or equal to, it goes. There's got to be something else that we don't need here, though. Because we have 1 more command than we need. I'm looking at this one and thinking maybe, but then, like, if we're going to do this subtraction, then we need to have saved it somewhere before we subtract it. Or not. Or not. Okay, get this. So, we do the subtraction, and so we're holding the difference between them in our hands. If it's negative, we're going to pick up that one and put it out there. If not, what we're going to do is just reverse the subtraction that we did. So now we never have to store it, because partial memory is the thing that we're carrying, and it still contains enough information to recreate that number by adding the number we subtracted back to it. And that will take us back to the second number. So we never need the second piece of memory here. We're going to just programmatically find that piece, that information again, like return ourselves to that value. Joseph said remove comments. Now the comments don't get line numbers, so you can see they're not taking up space. Okay, let's see. I'm pretty sure this is going to work. This is going to get us the number of instructions, but not necessarily the number of steps, because it might be the same number of steps, but I'm not sure. It might even be more steps because of us rebuild. Oh no, it might be less steps because the copy's gone. This might fix both of those issues. Damn. Hamish, you did exactly the same thing? Yeah, there we go. So, this is an interesting thing where, let me just go back to this. There's these two ways of doing things which you're going to end up learning about. I mean, some of you already know, obviously. Is that when you're dealing with information in your computer, you can use more memory to make things quicker by just using lots of memory and putting all your information in memory and stuff. Or what you can do is, like, it's basically, you know, like, this is, okay, I'm back to teaching. I'm in teaching mode again. 1511, one of the fundamental things that I teach people about computers is there's two parts to a computer. There's the thinking part and the remembering part. And those are the only important things you need to think about. It's not the only thing, but, you know, it is. The thinking part or the remembering part. You go really, really deep into computing, those two things are still fundamentally important. And you can choose whether you put the burden on the memory or on the processor. So if you want to, you can be like, I need to put all this stuff in memory, and I can put all the differences for things in memory as well. And I could use up all this space for things. And what that often means is I can take some time off my CPU to put it onto my memory, so that what I do is then I do a lot of operations for just reading memory and stuff like that instead. They can be slower, but, you know, it's just about which thing you're burdening more. In this case, what we did was, instead of using our RAM for this thing, we programmatically, like, we recalculated our values by adding this back. So after we recalculate it, then we can reuse it and stuff. And so, like, there's a lot of stuff where it's like you can put the burden on the CPU, and you know that that's going to slow things down. But it means you're going to use very, very little memory, because you're never going to have to save anything. What you can do is just recalculate your things as you need them. And that works sometimes. It really depends on what system you're optimizing for. And other times it's like, if we lay out our memory, so if we just like grab like 4 gigs of memory and lay out things in specific places, we can really optimize how fast things are going to go, because our processor will always be in the right place at the right time, because we organize the memory ourselves. So it's like there's this back and forth. When you're optimizing, you can always, well, not always, but a lot of the time you're going to use more memory to have to use less CPU. Or you can, conversely, if you need to save memory space, you can use the CPU to continue recalculate values from some primitive kind of, some axioms, I guess you could give them for what you're storing in memory. So as you get deeper into computing, you start optimizing for different things, you're going to actually be making those decisions. Do I use more memory to get speed, or do I use up more CPU to save space? And it's usually going to be a bit of a trade-off between those two. Anyway, there you go. So that's always funny, because like when I teach people things and they're like really, really what appear to be really simple fundamentals, they carry on a long way into like interesting kind of things that people will be doing in the future. Saying I'm back, and is the stream still going? Yes, the stream's still going. I did promise it would go over time, but I said that we were going to reach that one and stop, but we have a little cutscene here, so we're going to watch this cutscene, and then we're going to wrap it up. Employee morale insertion. Oh my god, office banter. That's not ominous at all. Alrighty. Matthew says, in my crack substitution, I used an 8 megabyte array specifically to make it go brr. Yes, I can understand doing that. Nicole saying, I really like the graphic style now. How good. Yeah, I love the art in this, and it's like, and also the story is really interesting, because this whole idea of just like making humans do programming stuff, it's like, it's got all these implications of just kind of like the deep levels of mistreatment of humans that we can reach if we can reach a level of kind of dehumanizing people. So this, like, I like it. This game's got something to say as well. It's very cool. Alrighty, we're gonna wrap it up there. Thank you all for coming along. This has been a lot of fun. This has been the first Marc on Mondays. I'll be back 8 p.m. Every Monday from now until, well, I mean, as long as I'm actually available, but I will schedule them. And so we'll have 8 p.m.s on Mondays, and we'll do things. I haven't decided exactly what I'm going to do next week. I could do something completely different from game streams. So I was thinking about maybe, because I am going to spend a bit of time this week looking at how I'm going to start structuring the graphics course that I'm teaching in term 3. So maybe we could do a bit of that. But I don't know if I'm going to spend 2 hours telling you all about every little thing that I'm doing there, but you know, could happen. And we could do a bit of that. Or obviously, I think there's a lot of requests about games and stuff like that. So we'll see. Oh, Abraham said mukbang. I could just eat dinner on stream. That would be really funny. Someone said meme review. Someone said music stream. I was going to play music. I was actually going to have music in the background, but I think I'll get a copyright strike if I play any commercial music. If I just start running my Spotify in the background, that's probably not going to be that great. But mukbang ASMR would be really, really funny. So I rushed dinner today so that I would be ready to do this, but that would be actually quite funny. D-Wang says, get a dartboard, put stupid ideas on it. I think that would be really funny if I get a dartboard, put your ideas on that. At the end of each show, I will throw something on the dartboard and say, okay, that's what we have to do next time. That would be quite funny. BT says, got to get Marc playing COD with a hoodie and a gamer headset. Well, I'm not going to wear the hoodie right now. It's warm enough as it is. But, like, can you see that? Let me just, I've gone on the wrong screen. I've got the gamer headset already. It's a nice headset. It's not like I don't play shooters. I'm probably going to wrap up the stream now and go straight back into Outriders and keep grinding for stuff. Could be quite funny if I just leave the stream on and play Outriders. But it's not going to be... it's not going to be super interesting. I'm just grinding for gear. Oh my god. Gamer Gremlin Marc with Cheeto dust. A Mountain Dew and Doritos. We'll see about that. Nick says, Dawn of War 2 Last Stand with tutors for a reenactment of the forum before assignment submissions. This is what it looks like on the other end of a help session. Dawn of War 2 Last Stand is pretty good. Maybe we can look into that at some point. Anyway, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you all for coming along. Thank you for taking part in this new initiative. And I guess we'll see how it goes from here. There's just kind of more fun stuff that we can do on Mondays. If nothing else, we're just going to hang out, you know? So, I will see you next Monday. Hopefully more people will have finished their exams by then as well. Alright. Night all.